Who was at which workshop? You mentioned the name of your teacher. Aleona. Okay, can we have Aleona people raise up your hands? Okay. I came there for a few minutes. I heard her shouting at you people. She later told me that she had to scream to keep you from sleeping. She said that you people look so tired, you are ready to sleep on her. And he was just shouting at you so that she doesn't put you to sleep. Okay, the Aleona people, stand up, please. Let's hear from you. What is your? Because when I entered the place, I thought you had a lot of what you already knew before, isn't it? Or it's not really?
She said something that really stood out. She started with asking us to define systems. You know, we've been doing it a lot of times, and everybody was saying what they understand from systems. But she zeroed into on something, the difference between structure and systems. And she kept on telling us that you may develop something and think you have developed a system. It's just a structure. And told us that system is like cycling. It feeds into another.
Okay.
It feeds into another.
Which is true.
And he said that most times people do structure.
You know, she's called to Africa, you know. Yeah, she sees herself in Africa. To go and she wants to go and teach this in Africa. Systems. And she's strong in systems building. That's where she's strong in.
She told us to watch out for that because most quote-unquote systems don't work because they are not actually systems. They are just
structures. Okay. Yes.
She likens it to the blood circulatory system in the body.
Okay.
And I like that very well because she said it's a closed system. And the circulation of the body needs the heart to pump it. So that heart is the work, is the force, all the efforts that we need to put. Even though we have a system in place, we still have to work it. Even though the circulatory system is a closed system, we still have to.
That's good. That's a good example.
And then she said, without any.
Yeah, when you have answered, you can say.
She said, anything that we want to do, you need to do system. We need to write down our system. And she said, for example, if you want to do a business, there's a different system for the business. For a business, we can't use the system for business to do system for.
But I had the impression that what she was talking about, that you people must have already known some of those things, no?
I think it was reinforced.
Huh?
It was reinforced because we know that you didn't want us to continue, but we thought us to continue so that it can really be established in us because we have been hearing it quite okay, but it's not too much for us to hear that again.
Because what I really wanted her to do was to show you how to build systems from a small church, let's say from 30 people to 100, and then from another different levels, so that you could see wherever you are, and you can look at any organization or any system or any church and take it from anywhere they are to a higher level. Yes. Did you get that one clear?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And another thing she said, the difference between the dream and the goal.
Okay.
So you can have a dream, but as long as it's not specific, you don't have numbers, you don't have location, you don't have a time span, it's just a dream.
Yes.
And everybody can have a dream, but it's when you put it down, you put it in writing, then it becomes a goal.
That rings a bell with what we discussed last night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it's not similar? It's close?
Yes, it's close there. Because everybody can have a dream, but unless you put it down with all things writing with dimension, figure, then it becomes a goal.
Thank you. Who is the next team? Have your seat, please. What was the next team? Alexander Coleman. Please stand up. Yeah. Alexander Coleman. Alexander Coleman. Alexander, the tall guy. Now, I also had the same feeling because when I came to your place, you were telling us what you got from, or he was just refreshing you. Was it a lot of repetition too? I just needed to know.
It wasn't so much refreshing is his actual presentation was a repeat of what we had done yesterday, and then the day before and the day before. So only he did it his own way. So it kind of, we had already gone there, and I think the people disconnected a little bit.
Okay, go tell him that he need to go deeper, because he has more complicated system. I don't know. Did he tell you the amount of?
The gigabytes.
Yeah, how many gigabytes? Is it 3
gigabytes?
3 gigabyte system. That's what he's doing.
But I think that he did it in English himself, and I didn't feel that was too strong. So I think he had to make the teaching more simple, because he didn't have so advanced words. That's at least my sense.
You shouldn't do it himself in English.
We had a communication issue.
Okay, you have to tell him that. So that's number 2.
But it was fun, you know. There were so many ideas, because when he was sharing ideas about the church, things they've applied, like the flash mob and all those things. So we got a lot of ideas from it.
But he probably could have given more and accurately how to use the interpreter, because we're working twice as hard to understand.
That is right. You tell him that too. Okay?
He wanted us to know
and
that.
Another experiment and that should be phrase. You move per day in one star. Yes, now she got to go to the station. She's not a participant. Because that's the station. You money not that going in this come. You know that experiment to our what do you install? You should delay the station to work site. And I should go that pre-move part over here. Because in Perivosh can show you alternative road and Perivosh. It's on the experiment to work. Because non ni poca buca da ufficiale era
He wanted us to express that how much we've known from the former ones that we've done. So that's why he was speaking to one another that we should do illustration.
Okay. But did you get anything new this time?
I got something. He said there is something he says there. He said monolith in German. He said German.
Monolith.
Monolith means stone. He said we must be like that stone.
Rock.
Yes. Like
solid rock.
Yes. He said we must be like that rock. You know, in anything we do, either in our evangelism and mission work. You know.
So only monolith you got, eh?
Well, not that. I can say that's what I think.
Okay.
For me, this was very productive, because in the first stage and the last day and the third day of the stage, I was able to put my 30 years playing.
Yes.
And now when I hearing Pastor Alex, I working with my 30 years plan, and I could putting more details. I could prospect me to putting any other much more details for application, because my 30 years data plan was a big system, not with little application.
Yeah, he has a lot of detailed application.
Yes.
He has his work, his plan. His plan is for 30,000 pages.
No,
30,000 pages.
The 7 points.
30,000, yes. If you want to print it with paper, you have 30,000 pages. Wow. Just for you to have an idea of what So he's just giving you a little bit, but it shouldn't stop at the surface level. We want him to take you deeper, so that you people could go deeper. Can you imagine somebody writing 30,000, not even 10,000 pages of systems?
Condense it.
So he condensed it, but he also was using the English language. He shouldn't do that. He should use the interpreter so that he could get more, he could release more. That's number one. But he should also go deep. Because when I came in, I saw that it was just giving you as if you had not passed through the level. But some of you had already passed through elementary level. You were supposed to go deeper. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, there was just something that helped me open my eyes, because I think that in terms of taking all this we get here, get back home, and then be disciplined enough to implement it actually, which is a big challenge.
Which is the biggest challenge.
Yes. And I thought there was like the day-to-day running, and then there's the intermediate state of over a few months, a year, and then the long term. And I think it's harder in the daytime to work towards a vision 10 years ahead, and sometimes even day-to-day. But I just kind of saw I think it worked for me to think more in terms of this 6-month period. What do I need to do there? It's an easier target and helps me reach to the end goal, and it helps me develop plans into my daily life. So I think I need to focus on that.
He was talking about that?
Yeah, he mentioned something about his 1 year, this year, next year, that year, and I thought I think I could use that.
So that is good for you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing too. But I was in France last Friday for a meeting, a night prayer, vigil prayer, and we pray for a project. The pastor is telling us pray that please God move for our project. We ask you to move, Father, in the name of Jesus. We pray for you. And also about 6 person, 20 person, we pray for every. Look, in France, life is very difficult, so we pray for every project. Please God, hear our prayer. This we present everything. But like today, I think he's the best teacher. He said that everything you do, God already did it.
Brilliant.
He just started.
Brilliant.
I said, what?
Brilliant.
I said, what about the prayer? He said, no. He said, God already did all the work for you. You just start once you finish. So we start when God is almost finished. I said, yeah, he's the best one. This teacher is the best one. It's good. So no, it doesn't fall like this. Yeah, no. That's very deep.
Yeah, but that is a thing, a mentality Christianity. We need to change in Christianity, waiting for God to do it for us instead of us know that God has already just take it and do. History makers don't wait for confirmation. They don't leave their destiny in the hand of others, circumstances, and even God. They go ahead and do it because you remember, let them, let us, let them.
Yes.
Let them. So you need to do okay.
I also got the same thing too, where he was trying to explain point A to B, how you get there, that's the end, that's the Alpha and Omega, and that everything has already been completed, like he said. But one thing that really stood out for me was, in building our systems, the way and the system and the methods and the ways by which he's going to achieve his goals. In some of these things that he stated, like there was one where, what was it?
Flash mob.
The flash mob.
Wow.
He had some, like different ideas, and what I see in that is that we need to be creative. That there are so many different ways for us to reach our target.
That's true.
Because sometimes when we are writing out these things and we just get stuck and then we're wondering, okay, what else can I do? But from his own list, you will see that you need to be creative also.
I see. Okay.
In addition to what they have said, and not so much of new things, but he was able to go trace a lot of things that I learned yesterday and even clarify certain things for me. Like they said, those ideas, and especially the breaking down, you talked about passing out flyers, which he broke it down to how he will get 40 people to pass out about 13,000 flyers in 1 week. He broke it down for us, and in the state where I am, in Georgia, United States, flyers, I believe, is something that works. We have tried to give out flyers before, but I don't think we have given that many flyers.
It's only 1% of flyers that work. So if you give out 100,000, you only get to have about 10.
It talks about 300 and something thousand.
Okay.
So 1% is.
It's not bad. Yeah? It's something. Okay, thank you.
All right.
The third group, Alexis. Okay, so what is when I got to your place, it was very complex, but at least it takes you, I think, it should take you, he is not repeating too much. Yeah. Although he repeated a few things, but So what do you, well, that's what I feel. That's the impression I had.
So what I really liked was that he showed how to raise leaders in different spheres, which is something similar to what I have planned. Okay. Businesses, NGOs, and maybe something else. It's very critical. So part of it was already covered before, but that part I wanted to see.
Okay.
That was the main takeaway for me.
But were there a lot of repetitions in his place as well?
I think
I would say a lot, but I can like his presentation at the one of the break, but it's presented differently because he shows you how you go from an initial group of people leaving behind everybody who's underperforming, so you keep improving on your quality, It includes also the training, the IBC training, until you get to the very, very best, and how you follow through on each one of them. So I felt that was really...
so you basically like his...
yes.
Because it gives us a statistical interpretation of the bricks.
Yeah. Okay.
So that you know that, okay.
But some people are not here for the bricks, so they don't even know what they are talking about. Because the bricks was on Monday.
Yeah.
So give us a statistical interpretation of the bricks that when you go out, this is what you are expected using some 80-20 rules. Out of that, you also get this percentage, so that you prepare your mind that you are not going to have your 100% effort is not going to give you 100% returns. And also, one thing they said today is, when you have a set goal, maybe you want to reach a nation, getting the population of your nation, that for you to transform the nation in general, you only need to have 4%.
Yeah.
4% coverage. If you have 4% coverage, you transform the nation.
That's true.
I think also, in addition to that 4%, it's like 4% of adults who think alike. Yeah. So it means that I have to look, to ensure that whatever
you mobilize people of the same,
so that all those people become like-minded. And so it says those ones you can do whatever you want to do with them.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
The fact that even during his graduation, for the students to graduate, for his leaders to graduate, they have to produce an evidence, especially if you're a businessman, producing an evidence of your business. Use that is what is going to make you to qualify for graduation. To me, it's just...
Here too, you will not graduate. Until you have that, you will not graduate.
It's not just a certificate, it's just something that is of qualitative.
Yes. Okay, who was?
Yeah, it's the same. I think it's statistical analysis was, it was easy to see with the numbers. And also with the charts, the Excel spreadsheet that you use, it was easy to see how you could break it down, really.
Okay. Anybody wants to say something?
One thing that I took out there is that when he finished, he didn't assume that we got it. He asked us in a few minutes now, write a small system and let me see. So that he can be sure that we got it. And he made us present what we got.
Very similar to what I was doing yesterday.
So
okay, he was a good teacher, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else is there? Marva?
Yep, I agree with everybody.
You've got to have your own opinion.
I do agree with everybody, and I did also very much so like bringing the emphasis on the 4% because I think it allows you to narrow down, and it also encourages you to bring unity on that platform. And his honing in on the make sure that we got it, and the suggestions and comments were excellent.
Excellent.
He had a very, I like the fact that he had a very realistic approach to determining the actual numbers he would have at the end of the day for each position. So he wasn't fooled by the numbers as well as started with. He realized that with each stage there would be people dropping off, and he had accommodated that in his plan so that he would have a clear, realistic sense of who he would have at the end of the day in the different roles he wanted them to play.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Also, something he did was he showed the connection between your plan and his plan, and really underlined how we need to follow your father. it's much better than to do anything else.
Oh, your own.
Because when you follow somebody who knows he's going, you don't stand a chance to miss it. And so even his plan was derived from yours. He said, I'm going to pick up a piece of my father, which is this part, and then this is how I'm going to do it. And I believe that was an interesting thing to raise up.
Okay, thank you.
I think the only other thing I would add is, and maybe somebody said this, but I saw the consistency from the presentation Monday in everybody using systems, and we were asking about other systems, and I appreciated that he stayed focused, although he maybe had the other systems somewhere else, and he was clear to say that it requires a system of its own, which means that everything we do, we ought to think of it systems oriented and just break it down from one process to the other, and even the sub-processes.
That's so true. That's so true.
I have a question. I have noticed in all the system I have seen, usually the first step is the conversion before anything else. Is that, do you think it's the only way? Can you do it at a different stage in the process? Or?
Yeah, I think conversion could be done at the end too.
Okay. It's not
rigid.
Okay.
The most important thing is that you have a formula. Systems always that basic initial formula that we taught you the first time. You will see that all of them kept on. Systems have to start from somewhere. What do you want? What is your resources? Initial formulas has to be the same, I believe. Okay, have to say thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Now, the question that I have, this question is general to everybody, no matter what seminar you attended. Some of you have been here since Saturday, Monday, and we say this whole second level is an attempt to teach you to think and live by systems and to look at things that nothing is worth doing unless it's done and put into a system, because that's what guarantees a lasting result. And so that's the whole idea we want to communicate to you. Nothing is worth doing if you are not going to systematize it. If you are not going to put it in a structure, in a system, and make it into an institution. It's just like throwing your water right into the street. So the question I have for you is that, what is the general tone, or what is it red line we call it?
Bottom line.
Yeah, bottom line is good, but I'm talking of what is the string? Yes. What is the string that goes?
String that ties everything together.
No. What is the string that you see everywhere?
Oh, the thread.
The thread. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is the thread that you see that goes through all the things you are saying? Everything you've been going through, hearing, all that. What one thing can you underline?
Raising sons.
Raising sons. Yes. I like that. That is interesting.
Yes, I saw it everywhere.
Tell me about that. Stand up and tell everybody.
Yes. Like I said the other day, what was my biggest surprise was when I saw the system for the rehab center.
Can you come here and say it, please?
For the rehab center, because I had no idea it was all about raising leaders as well. It was really my biggest surprise. And then I check in every different system. It's really raising sons.
I didn't expect that. That is unique.
Yeah,
so that is the one thing. That is the thread you see all through.
Yes, everyone.
Raising sons.
Raising sons.
So you think the greatest thing that this time in the Embassy of God you have underlined is that sons are being raised.
Yes. Yeah. In every different kind of entity, let's say.
It's not just Pastor Sunday raising sons, but those people raising sons.
Yes.
Yeah, they're passionate
Absolutely.
about it. They're passionate about it. Some equally as passionate as you are. It comes through without a doubt. And very clear. It's very, very clear.
That surprises me. Because if you are to ask me, I never talk about that. No. I never expected that. I only do it. But I didn't know they caught it.
They got it.
They all have it.
That's interesting. Okay, what's the trend that anybody else sees?
I think maybe we could go a little deeper with that, in that it seems to be the systematizing of raising sons.
I see. The system of raising sons.
Yeah, so that it's not a move of God or a whole.
That is interesting. It's not just a miracle.
No, there's not. How is it happening? Revival's happening there. It's not that. It's not a revival in that sense.
It's not like spontaneous.
No, it's actually
unpredictable,
calculated, and you're assured of it. It's guaranteed, and so it's a factory, for lack of a better term, that's consistently putting out sons for the harvest. It's guaranteed harvest.
You know, that's what they call me. They say Pastor Sunday is a factory for producing successful people.
But that would be the thread that you would see, is the guaranteed results and systematized fruitfulness, we could call it.
That is good. That is well said. Systematized fruitfulness. That is interesting. Is anybody writing those notice?
Yes.
Systematized fruitfulness. So you notice that the general trend that you saw is that consistent raising of sons. But you are even going beyond sons and saying fruitfulness in general.
Yeah.
Not just in sons, but in growth, in systematized fruitfulness.
And the reason I see it this way is because back home we normally go to different moves of God and we pick the fruit from the tree, we eat the fruit, we love the fruit, we share the fruit. But here you're coming and seeing where the light is coming up through the roots. You're coming into understanding of how that fruit is produced. And I think that's more valuable than just enjoying the fruit.
What is one trend that you could see since you came, this second level? Because your eyes are getting opener more and more, wider. So what is another thing you could point out?
Another thing which I can see is that, you know, like, if I say from the background where I come, you know, when you just say, reaching 1,000 people, everyone will be looking as if you're fallen from the moon, you know. Maybe you're just 50 people and you're saying of reaching. But one thing, as he said, you know, no one is even kind of is shocked, because sometimes you even say, June, put down your goal, you just say 2 million, and then it's like, God, will I be able to do it? You kind of, but somebody is coming with 10 million, 4 million, you know.
Nobody is saying, so, God, will I be able to do it? No, we don't talk that. It's because it's not, you are not waiting on God.
Yeah,
it's a systematized thing. There's an assurance. It's a predictable thing, right?
Yeah.
So assurance, what you would call it is assurance of results.
Yes, even
predictability of results.
Yeah,
huh?
you just see, okay, this is a problem, drugs, drug addict. Give me maybe 3 months. Just come up with a system. It's done.
I'll fix it.
But for me, maybe for out there, maybe you're going to take 6 months.
So the ability to look at any situation and come up with a solution.
Yes.
Now you are getting me better, my friends, when you hear me when I say, I need just 5 years for Nigeria. So that's the way I'm reasoning. But we want to get you there. So that you could look at any situation, any country, and say, give me 5 years. Give me 1 year. Give me 10 years. I know what to do. I fix it. I fix it.
So what I can say, I can use the verse that in Genesis, when God said to Adam, you know, go multiply, feed the earth, be fruitful,
multiply,
fill the earth, subdue it.
Subdue it, right.
So really we are back to that point because of what Jesus did on Calvary. And so
could you see that this week?
Yes.
In what shows? Can you actualize?
In the way that the law of multiplication, but put to the maximum.
That's interesting.
It's maximized, you know.
So you could see the law of multiplication in action here.
Yeah, in action.
Fruitfulness.
Yes, and
multiplication, filling the earth, and subduing it. Even to it's maximized. So from stage 1 to the very last stage.
Yes.
Everything
God said it. Yes.
Could you show me an example? Is it Alexander's example or Sergei's example? What gave you that concept? Where are you coming from?
I believe they complete each other because the presentation like the one we had with Alexei on the break, it does eliminate every
every loophole.
Every loophole. Everything that's gonna create a problem is taken out all the way.
That is good.
Yes. But then when you take somebody like the son of the bishop, he goes, or even the model for the rehabilitation center, then they be step by step, to make sure that even at the beginning the seed was messed up.
That's true.
They can still get the best out of it. And so nothing is wasted if there is the image and likeness of God in there.
That is interesting. So that's like we are seeing the return of the blessing of Genesis.
Yes.
Be fruitful, be multiply, fill the earth, and even right to the extent of subduing.
Yes. Yeah.
That one now, unlike what he said, that one which you just said now, is my conscious effort. It's a conscious, calculated something in my own mind. The way I do ministry is to go from that fruitful right to the subdue. I'm doing that consciously, and I develop and I train people to consciously go like that. So it's good you notice that. That's interesting.
I want to know if I am wrong in that thinking, but I see that we're talking a lot about systems. It's the more important thing, but systems get in place when we know our mission for first, and we can put the mission, the general call, in a quantified goal. When we have the quantified goal, we can put systems and subsystems and all that kind of things.
That's exactly what we have been talking about all this week, right?
Okay.
All of them always say, "What's your goal?" That's the beginning of all the systems, right?
Okay.
Yes.
I consider the more important thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But anybody seen any thread again? Yes.
This will come as a question, but one of the things I've noticed, it's almost like you're hearing the same concept over
and over again. That's right.
So it's like God Embassy is a ministry where the two are now working together because they have agreed in language.
That's good.
They have agreed in mindset.
That's Genesis 11, right?
Exactly. So, if you look at all of them, there's no struggling. And I also see a sense of ownership. Everybody is fully confident of what they are doing. Whether Pastor Sunday is here or not here, the ministry is moving forward. And I would like to know, since the systems have been implemented, when you meet with these leaders and discuss, what is the level of discussion, the quality of what you discussed today versus 2-3 years ago when they did not have this common language? Have you seen any major difference?
2-3 years ago, all these people who are teaching you this way, none of them was in my team.
Wow.
I didn't even meet with them. They couldn't even come near to me like this. They were just nice leaders in church. All these people you met this week, all of them, none of them was invited. So everything you're seeing this week, they've been there for 15 years in church, 10 years in church. They're just good leaders. So some of them were just leaders of their own organization. Okay, let's take, you want to go one by one? On Monday, Sergey, he was just one of my pastors. He told you that it was just last year, the one that did the break. Yeah. It was just last year that he caught. And I started this thing maybe 2 years ago. That it got to him. Even though he was my pastor already. They all know we have a great church. They all have their great churches. They are all doing well. They know what they were teaching and doctrine, kingdom. They are doing it, but not systematized. Because I myself didn't know. 5 years ago, 3 years ago, up to 3 years ago, I thought, maybe you'll not believe this. And I'm sorry that I was so ignorant. I have to apologize to God. Maybe because of that, God had to allow this to happen to me. Because I was so ignorant. You will not believe it, but I will say it just for you to know, to have an idea. I sincerely thought that every person has the ability to build systems like this. Can you imagine? You know, sometimes we can be naive. We think that what we can do, everybody can do. I don't know if some of you have that question sometimes. Do you have those issues sometimes?
Yeah.
So because I can do anything, I thought everybody can do it. So I thought that is so elementary. Why should I teach people about that one? Actually, people went to school, people went to university, people studied, people are having positions, you know. So how did they get there without knowing these things? That's what I was thinking. That's number one. Number two, I didn't know that people don't work on themselves. People don't have the culture of working on themselves. I thought everybody could do that. I didn't know that when people leave church or when they leave something, that they don't listen, they don't put labor to make that thing become flesh. I didn't know that. I thought everybody was doing that. That's elementary. That's because the pastors are saying it all the time. Go listen to this all the time. So I thought everybody is doing it. Number three, I thought everybody had their value systems in order, have their life goals, and living day by day by purpose. Purposeful life, purposeful living. I didn't know people don't have an idea. Can you imagine? I was 40 years old. Big boy. Pastor Sunday Adelaja. But superficial. I was living somewhere there. I was thinking everybody was near me. In my church and Christians, I think all of them were here. I thought maybe I was a little bit higher than all of them, but they were close by. Until recently, when I discovered that I was here and everybody was there. That's what I discovered. I was very broken. That's when I began to question and say, how can I fill the gap? This is crazy. I'm living in a mystery world. I'm living in a fantasy world. And my wife used to tell me that, you know. She's still telling me that up to now, that I'm still naive. You know. Naive at 40, she tells me that. That's what she calls me. Open your eyes, she says, to reality. Yeah. Because I'm like a child. You know. The world is not like that, the way you're thinking. Anyway, but God helped me through the trouble, through my trouble. Because we don't learn. Sometimes the best way to learn is through pain. So through my pain, I could see that people are not what I thought too good of people. Because I thought people are not as perfect as I thought they were. People are not as because I had worked on myself for a long time to look at people, and I have a policy. If a person is so bad, and it has helped me, but maybe I had gone to the extreme a little bit. No matter how bad the person is, I had trained myself never to notice the negative things in people. But even if they have 100, even if they have 99 negative stuff out of 100, that I should look out of that 99 and find out one that is positive. So I focus on that one, and I try to magnify that one positive quality. And I magnify it until it reduces all the 99 negative. Amen. To change it so that that one becomes 99, the positive, and that negative becomes 1. So I focus. I'm a driven man. You had told me that one time. When I see something I see what I want to get. Like I was trying to show you for the sick guy and for the problem. So that's where I live my life. You know, I don't care for the problem. I'm seeing where I'm going to, that's all. So the same thing here. So I don't see problem. All the people are not perfect. Okay, no problem. I fix it. I'm always confident I will fix everything. But I didn't know people's problem was much more than I thought they were good. I thought everybody is fine. So now, as a result, I don't want to travel anymore to go and do conference everywhere. No. People are not ready for me. So all the traveling I was doing, I was wasting my time. Because I was going to talk to them from the perspective that they were already there. They could, at least they could understand. They could, that I just go and do one meeting or two meetings, and they will know, they will fly with it. No. I just go and make noise and stir up the crowd and the nest and destroy everything and go. And they can't go and just go back and repair the whole thing back to the place it was before I came, and that's all. Because they would not be able to digest all the things I was bringing. So I was killing myself trying to help people, not seeing their real situation. So that's why we needed this. I need to take people through the process. So these people you are saying all through this week, they are a result of my thorough, renewed approach to working with people. So they are just people that have been recycled, that have gone through this new mindset and this change that has happened to me. This time I've not traveled. They are just some of the product of that.
But still, you did build everything that you did build.
Yes, but
in spite of that.
Yes, I was building it. See, the difference is that I had everything I'm doing now, I had them myself personally. You get it? I had systems, I had all these things, but I was building it. But I didn't know that they were doing it, just doing what I tell them to do. I was given leadership. I was a strong leader. I'm still a strong leader. I was given leadership. So everybody was following me. And I was thinking, because they were doing what I tell them to do, that they could think like me. That they could create like me. That they could come up with the same, themselves, without what he just said now, that Pastor Sunday is here or is not here, they are teaching the same thing. 2 years ago, they couldn't teach that. They couldn't talk. They didn't know where I was coming from. But they saw me as a leader, and they think I'm the great man of God. They think I'm just the anointed. They think it was God's anointing on me. And they think, oh, we'll follow him and we'll do. They get results when they do what I say. So we were able to build all that. But the danger of that is that I was the man, I was the big man. So if I'm eliminated, they will not be able to sustain it. They will only sustain what they had. But they will not be able to be me. They will not be able to create from zero what I could do. They will not be able to invent and evolve and, everybody. So they were not sons, they were followers. Maybe I could use that word. They were leaders because I created this whole thing and put them to be leaders there. You got it? I don't know if you get it. But now I don't even go to preach in church, because I used to do that. Organize leaders meeting, do conferences, I used to be the one getting ideas, putting it. Now I don't even go to church. People don't even see me. I just sit down at home, I do this. They are the ones thinking all those ideas they are telling you how to do this. I don't even know. They are the ones now doing it. They are now thinking. I'm no more thinking. They are now creating. I'm no more creating. They are now, so I'm just sitting down. I'm the father now. I'm seeing my children perform and create. And I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. So we still had a great church before then. It was one of the best churches in the world. Even 5 years ago, they were saying that, or 3 years ago up to now, they're saying our church was in the top 10 churches, the best. Peter Wagner, all of them. It has always been the best, one of the best in the world at this church. But that was because, I had all these things. But it's a sorrow for me that I had them, thinking all of them had it. But they were just copying me, learning from me, but they were not able to dig their own well. They didn't know where I was coming from. They didn't know my secret, the secret of my power. They didn't know what made me tick. They didn't know the secret of my greatness. But now they possess the secret of my greatness. They were doing the spiritual stuff. They were praying like me. They were reading the Bible like me. They were, preaching like me. They could do revelation knowledge. But those are just spiritual stuff. That is 50% of what it needs to be a great person and a great leader. So you need to pray, you need to do spiritual warfare, you need to do preaching, you need to know the Bible. That's what they knew. Because that was what they were seeing from the stage, what I did. But they didn't know how I lived, you see. They didn't know that I would walk 18 hours straight every day. They knew I could walk, but they didn't know I was doing that every day. You know, I was driving them to work. They thought I was just the heart leader or something, but they didn't know it was just a general standard. They just thought that's Pastor Sunday. They didn't know it's just something that should be normal for them too. And let's say, they will say, Pastor, you just come out to all these systems and I'm just bringing it. But now they were thinking I was just the only one who could come out with all those systems. But now they know they can look at any situation and come up with a recipe and with the way to come out of it. They now know they could be like that. It's unbelievable. They can do the same thing. I am no more the great man. I am no more the only one. But they are saying more in me of the things they still have to get so we can become just like him. That is the thing.
Okay, what I wanted to ask is like, you know, when they say like building a legacy, so this is what it is that it takes to build a legacy. A
lasting legacy, right?
A lasting legacy.
Yeah, I think this is more a lasting legacy in the sense that, like he said, songs. Before, I was having songs, but there were songs that were that might have been limited to their own abilities. But now, they are being limited to the level of my own limitation, ability. Not to the ability, but my ability. I don't know if you get the difference. Did you think I really answered the question?
Yes, I'm just spinning around in my head thinking about how much you accomplished by doing that. Then thinking about, you have this system and them learning all that. Then you have your life carrying the whole thing without that in them. Then I'm thinking about me going back and pursuing a life that should be both the life that you had in the beginning, but adding to that the system and not falling into thinking, oh, it's just the system, so I don't need the life, or well, maybe before I'd been the life.
Yeah, you need to have the balance of the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that.
Because, for example, you could use the lifestyle which I have developed over the years myself, and this is this same lifestyle. Only system is this topic, but the lifestyle was what you showed you the other time, and you remember the basic thing, the requirement for all these things, for that fish to remain in the water, to remain alive, the basic requirement even for existence is it has to be in that pond. It has to be in that water. For that plant to keep on just even existing. So relationship with God is the basic, is the foundation for everything. Some people call it prayer. Some people call it spiritual, but I call it relationship with God. That is why at the bottom of everything in our church, even these girls cannot hang around me if they don't do that. If they don't do 3 days away every week, every month. Everybody, the relationship with God is basic. Can you imagine? But before, I was the only one, not the only one, but maybe we had 700 pastors, maybe 50 of them would do it. It was not required, you know. But now, at least 1,000 people are doing it. Is that the difference?
Yeah.
Is that the difference?
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
I think it is.
Very good.
You know, why should I be the only one just making God my priority altogether? Total. So that lifestyle, the system doesn't remove it. So don't you think that the systems and the organization remove the lifestyle? No. Even for them, it doesn't remove it. They still have to do it. If they don't do it, they're dead. Everybody knows that here. That is just the elementary things we need to survive. Worship, prayer. That is just, we don't even talk about it anymore. Because it's just elementary. You will not survive. You are not alive if you don't do prayer, fasting. If you don't do those things. So it's just elementary, right? But instead of you just doing that alone and expecting God to come and fix everything, you now know you could be taught to be co-creator with God. So what I've done is that I've used that ability, lifestyle, skills that I had, wisdom. I could use all that because I'm the one who has all that, right? And you now have them, but I was having it. I could use that to build a church of 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 and enjoy it. But I've discovered that that is not what I'm made for. Because if I just keep on building like that, and they follow us, they are following me, and I'm the hero. I have 2 million people who are my members, 20 million people who are my members, and I'm the hero. And I have it, and it's working. I don't think that's my calling. I think my basic calling is to raise sons. I would rather have not 1 million, not 20 million, even not 1,000, not even 10,000, not even 1,000. I would rather have 10 people that can do the same thing I can do. Then they will have, together with me, I do the same thing. I have 10 people, each one of them has 10 people. Then we'll get 100,000 one day. We'll get to 1 million one day. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So now, for example, what they are saying, what all these people are saying is that all these people who are speaking to you are not just them, thousands of them that have been transformed this year, these 2 years. What they are saying is, each one of them, okay, for example, each one of them had results, maybe let's say 10 years, after being 10 years in the church, they have a church, they pastor a church of maybe 500 people, 1,000 people, each one of them, maybe one of them. And they have organization. The result they have for 10 years, being in church, just following me, thanks to me. Good result. But that's all thanks to me. And, for 10 years. Now they're having that same result 1 year on their own. Is that the better one? Is that the better is that the better negotiation, what they call it, bargain? Yeah. I think that's a better bargain. So what people are now saying, even ordinary people, just members of the church, that I put, who are not even leaders or pastors, I put to myself and taught. They are saying that in the past 1 or 2 years, the progress they have attained in their growth is probably more in the last 1 year than all their Christian life all put all together. Absolutely. Will you say that? So, Sweta?
For sure.
1 year of this intensive work?
Absolutely.
More than 15 years in God? You see? So that's the kind of thing I'm saying now. So it's now about, what will we call that? I don't know what you call that. What will you call that?
Okay. Acceleration.
Quantum acceleration. Quantum leap. Quantum leap. People very light and day.
I think that's why you're a professor. That is now the topic we are going to have for tonight. Organized righteousness. Organized righteousness. I don't know if you are getting the difference between, because some people are saying embassy of God, but you are always good before. You were always big before. You were always this before. Yeah, but how I wish you see the difference. But you saw the difference, but that's why they're saying all these things. Am I clear or not really?
Yeah.
I need to hear you because I don't believe you. I need to hear your conclusion. Yeah.
You've built something now that is compounding, and I think I can see the church hitting a point, and even after you're gone, where it's so huge.
Yes.
Because of all this foundation.
Yes.
From 3 years ago.
Yes. 2 years now.
Or 2 years.
The first year I was just in a shock, discovering who people are. So I needed a year to come in terms to that with that one, just to overcome that shock of discovering people are not perfect. You see. Then 2 years I've been working, right? It's going to be 2 years in August.
So, you're also indirectly telling us, especially all the organizations represented here, that as we begin to implement these ideas in our ministries, we should also expect some kind of shift and even, what is the right word? Change of guards?
I think you will discover that the people you started with might not be the people you finish with.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
But don't regret about that.
That's fine.
Don't you regret about that. Don't you regret about it. I will go show you my own example. 1 year ago, in April, at the anniversary, I preached a message saying, whatever is happening to the embassy of God's church is not a tragedy, but a triumph. Because I had seen this plan out in my mind, that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put myself, all what I know, I'm going to train people not just to be my followers anymore. I'm going to put myself in them, in my people. But because I started putting requirements, harsh requirements, for you to remain in my team, I started telling people to give exams, to follow strict rules. And I was the loving pastor before, just the big heart. No, not really being harsh and demanding and controlling. So, but I began to demand and control if things are done or not control like controlling, but oversight and enforcing and oversight and things like that. So out of my 12 core people, I don't know if you heard about it. Out of my 12 core people, 5 left.
Wow.
Is it 5 who left? Now Sophia, the Zubas, 3, 4, Vasily. Yeah, 5. I had 5 of them left. Out of my 12 core people, 5 left. So, but I said, I got other people. So instead of having 12 now, I have 20 now, 24. Now, and instead of just having that one core group, I now have, let's say, you could say 50 groups like that. Wow. So, and I said, I only need 1,000 people out of 100,000 in the embassy of God to remain. I know it will never happen. I said, I needed everybody to go. I want to empty this church. I stood on my knees and I said, please leave. If you don't agree with me in anything, or you feel you don't understand what I'm doing, the new thing I do. I said, I stand before you, before God. You better leave than sit down there and question what I'm doing. Or have doubts, or think that I am in error, or think that I am wrong. If you have that doubt, I beg you, please honor me and honor God by being honest. And the best way to be honest is to just follow your heart. If you have doubt, don't you follow. Because everything you do in doubt is a sin. I will not bring that sin over your life. Please go out. Because if you have doubt, you will not receive blessings anymore. Please. Only people who want to remain here. So I announced to them, even if we have 700 churches, if all 700 churches leave, I only need 1. And in the next 5 years, I will produce 700 again. They were thinking I was just rambling. Then number 2, I said out of 100,000 embassy of God church members that we have, I only need 1,000 to be left. And from that 1,000, I will pick 10. And from that 10, I will go. In 5 years, I will rebuild that 100,000 again. But I knew that it took 15 years to build that one. And now I'm saying 5 years. 3 times shorter time to build. I'm confident of that. I was so confident that by the time I make everybody addicted to God like I'm addicted to God. By the time I open their eyes to see how to build systems the way I have learned to do it. By the time I teach them how to work with people and raise leaders or saviors and sons. By the time I only need a few to teach like that. If 5 years will be too much for us to. You know what has happened now? The team 2 years ago I got another team. So this team. I said 3 years ago they were not with me. So they were in church, but they were not in my team. So they were the best, of course, I picked into my team, right? So I I began to teach them. Now, each one of them has more results than all the 5 that left. Each one.
Wow.
Yeah, each one has more results than not just one that left, but all 5 put together in that 1-2 years of interval of work. Each one, new people who just came to the team, have more results than all the 5. Each one. That's just in 1 year or 2 years of work. What will happen in 5 years? So I don't know if you are getting. Yeah. All right. You people gone through the book, right? Okay. They said they want to do homeworks first. Yes.
Good evening. Okay, Pastor Sunday asked us to go name by name and give you comments on your works to each of you. I'm glad that you like it. Okay, let's go. Bolo Gedekbem. A good work, you have written everything. The only thing that you need to remember is to give more practical examples. I'm sorry, I don't see where you're sitting. Yeah, to give more practical examples and maybe to be a little bit more creative, as in to maybe make some schemes or tables to make it visual, everything that you want to apply. Bola Salimonu. Okay, also good work and well-developed answers. Thank you. Maybe also a little bit more practical and a little bit more visual. Well, actually, it's for everyone about being more visual, as in using different tables and.
Millionaires that I know, that's the only thing that makes the difference between them. The difference between the great people, the millionaires, the successful people, and ordinary people who are just mediocres is that thing. So we are going to grind you. We are going to drill you. We are going to keep on pressing on you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. That because we want you to get to the 3%.
Okay, then I'd like to mention Ejatu Sharif.
What?
I don't see you.
Tarif?
Sharif.
Who? She's here. Look at her.
It's just light is in my eyes, so I can't.
Okay.
Sorry.
But she doesn't want to stand up because she doesn't want you to. People don't want public identification.
So you didn't give answers to question 6, 7, 8, and number 5 wasn't proved. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah, but you're getting a red dot.
Because you didn't give them warning. If you have problem with your computer, you are supposed to tell them.
I came to her and then we spent nearly 20 minutes there.
Yes, I didn't, consider that you are late because you didn't send it, so I didn't take it into account.
10-15 minutes. I was trying to
it's not up to me. I'm just telling you the results. Sorry. Okay, then Gregory Lan Ijivola. A very good work, well-structured, practical and well-proved answers with statistics and made decisions. So you're getting green dot.
I thought I was is he going to get red? What? Is he going to get red mark for that? I was thinking he's going to get a red mark for that. I was thinking, wow.
In question number 3, gave only 2 examples instead of 3. Then last sub-question in number 6, you did mention time and the mass and not a full answer. Well, as I said before, though you have copied, you did a good research, but not all. Like you didn't answer to the other 2 questions, just like some of the things Paul did, but we did not. It's not only like sub-questions. Sub-questions we don't give red dots. Yeah. Okay, Marva Gillis.
So she escaped, eh?
Yes, you didn't have answers to questions 5, 6, 7, and 8. So, yeah?
I think you should have it. I think you should have got it.
Yeah, I did get your work, but there is no, we checked it several times, there is no answers to the last 4 questions. Did you do it separately, in a separate document?
No.
In one document? And you have all the 8 questions? Okay.
You have to go and show them.
Yes, yes, you need to. No, you just come up to us and then afterwards and show. We didn't get the work of Miss Nika Debie because she had a headache. She came up to us and warned us. Oliver Kemi, Oliver Koya, we did not receive your work.
I brought it to you. On the flash.
On the flash. I'm so sorry. Yes, you did. So sorry. Oironke abo yade kove. Oironke? No.
Call, right?
Kolu?
Call.
No answer to the last two questions, right?
Yeah, because I was running late.
Yeah, well, no. Sorry, but you're the
Where's your badge?
Where's your badge? Because you are running late. Of course, because you are running late. Otherwise, you would have done it.
Okay, then Pastor Paul Manene, wonderful work, good practical life examples, good research. But next time, please write it. Where is Pastor Paul? Please write it in attached Word document.
No, because I have open office. If I send it to you as attachment, you may not be opening it on Word.
Okay.
So that's the problem. That's why I send it as attachment.
Okay, but still, it's good that you put points. At least we can easily find it. Thank you for that. You get the green dot. Thank you. And Pastor Vincent, would like to say thank you for good work, many details, good examples, and tables and scriptures. And thank you very much, and you're getting a green dot.
Pastor Peggy, we are just rejoicing as if it's you. You take some glory from that, huh?
Thank you very much. If you have any questions, just come up to us after this.
The rest means average. That's why you are not mentioned. You are not bad, and you are, of course, you are good, but maybe not excellent.
We're not ready bricks.
Yes, dear.
All right. Okay, thank you, everybody. Yeah, now we do books. So, is there anybody who didn't read 154 pages?
Yeah.
But it's easy to read 154 pages because it's well written. That book is easy to read. I don't know. I did it this week, not just this afternoon. And I still did a lot of other things. So, it's not a big deal to do that. And anybody who didn't read the book?
Well,
you
you
didn't read 154 pages?
Read about 110.
What do we do for that?
Stand.
You have to stand.
Is
it red? No red,
No,
just
for
stand.
the book, no red dot, just stand.
He tried.
How many pages remaining?
44.
I have 109.
Okay, who didn't read 154 pages? Will you stand? Oh, are you having a health issue?
No.
If you don't, then you have to stand. Anybody who didn't read that? You are back in retreat, my friends. Yeah, anybody who is there who has not read it? Okay, is there anybody who, everybody else think they've read? They read all the pages? Okay, if you think you did, will you stand up? Then you have to defend it. Okay? Everybody is ready? Whenever you're ready, just raise up your hand and see if you can answer and say.
Okay. What I got from the first section that we read is the power.
Don't tell me the story.
Okay.
Just tell me the main point that you took away, the takeaway.
Okay.
And what impressed you the most, and what is the conclusion you've come to? Yeah, you can refer to your note, but don't read your notes.
Okay.
Just give me your
The main point I took away is when I was reading about the two parts of the gospel of salvation,
yes,
and the gospel of the kingdom. It has always been a confusion to me, even though that you talked about it in the church shift. It wasn't something that I can easily go and defend. Because when I raise it, some people in where I'm coming from, they seem to do more research than I have done, and I'll talk me, so I keep quiet.
So now I could see it all the way from the Old Testament. I could see it from the time that from the Ten Commandments, how the first 4 is dealing with everything about loving God, and the other 6 were doing about relationship with people, which you can now relate to the New Testament, and it's about loving God with all of your heart, and also loving your neighbors as you love yourself. It also comes under that special grace and the universal grace. So all those things, became clear to me.
When you say the guy writes well,
he does,
I think it makes it simple. Yes. It simplifies, he writes really well. Yes. And you cannot believe it that this guy is not a theologian.
That's an engineer.
He's an engineer.
Right? So, yeah. Now,
but engineers are very detailed. Yes. And as a professor, they are very detailed people.
So I actually read the book. I bought it the last time.
Okay.
History makers.
You are smart, eh? You could foresee. But you had the gift of foresight.
The reason why I bought it, because I wanted to know, I wanted to see the full piece of Embassy of God. So I bought it the last time, and I've been studying it. I have snippets of it. I was showing direct pictures of the book all over this place.
Very good.
So now the first part that we just read now is more of like laying the groundwork.
You should hear that, oh. So if you have not read it finished, it's good he's telling you that now.
So he wants to discuss Embassy of God. That's what he wants to do in the book. But he's laying an historical
very good
groundwork
and
theological, so that one could understand where he was going. He was going to church, you call it church shift, ministry. The concept, but he was trying to show the different streams, from the past. Trying to distinguish between the gospel of salvation, the gospel of the kingdom, the different reforms that have taken place, the types of reforms within the church, outside the church, from the world into the church.
He did a good job with that.
He did a good job. So he did good research, like very academic, research with references and all that, which was a good foundation. So basically what that did for me was it gave me a very good, like more like an environment where I could see how churchship now comes, the uniqueness of it, and the, how God has moved and up until this point.
Brilliant.
So gave me that understanding. So there are a lot of, it was a theoretical part of the book, you understand? So there are a lot of things.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Well, just as he said, the one point I think is the difference between a missionary church and a missionary church.
Okay,
It was confusing to me before.
Okay.
I thought missionary is the same. But in that book, he explained very clearly that a missionary church is whereby only few people of the congregation they go and do work in the foreign land, in the different part. Yes. Whereas Church God Embassy is a missionary church, meaning that everybody is missionary.
Yes.
And they don't need to travel far away.
To every sphere of the society.
In every sphere of the society. That became very clear.
Brilliant, brilliant.
I like how he wrote the book in 2 parts. The first part, discussed theoretically the concept, and then he came to the second part and gave the practical example of how what he said in part 1 has been done. So it brings the two into a clear perspective.
Yeah, but so this time we are just dealing with the first part, right? 154.
Finish it, I'm sorry.
You finish, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I like history, so I enjoyed
the history of the church.
the history of the church. How heresies crept into the church, how denominations arose. And
that was so easy to read, right?
Yes,
so easy, because the history of the church actually is 1,000 pages. Right, yeah. If you want to read it, but it made it so easy.
Exactly. They break it down.
Yeah.
The compromise of the Catholic Church, bringing slave trade, and that was new to me, and that's something I learned. And how the fact that it was the Portuguese that first went to Africa before the British is a new thing.
Yeah, not most people will think they are the British, right?
That's what I thought.
And most people will think that they are the Americans who took the slaves, but not really, right? So a lot of good stuff. Yes.
Also, what's amazing.
You can have to say that.
Is that it's an opportunity to kind of observe the journey of the development and the growth of the church. There is a particular place I got and I felt pain. and is it Pope Nicholas the Fifth, who was trying to unify the church to fight against Islam.
Yes.
He failed, and Islam took over.
Became a crusade.
So, and I see the same thing happening today. You know, especially in Nigeria and some African countries, Christians are still, and I'm saying, are we not learning from history?
Wow.
Why is it so hard to mobilize us against external threats? Why are we so slow?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, now talking about the pain, I felt that coming in when we came to the present day in the end of the third chapter, I think it was leading to the fourth, about when it mentioned those statistics about like 64% of American youth are disengaged from a Christian lifestyle.
Oh, that is very painful, right?
Yeah, and 90% of the church-going youth are trained in a secular teaching setting.
Yeah, oh, that's very bad.
So that it's just this. I mean, where will this take our whole society? So it's just like I feel that it's stirring me at least to think into when thinking about the kingdom of God, not just. I mean, before meeting you outside, I've been very local church oriented, but the kingdom of God comes out just much more clearly, and really especially the responsibility, not just for being successful in. If it was
as a pastor,
and having like 400 or 500 people would be success in Denmark, but really just dropping all of that and thinking in terms of there's a much bigger responsibility.
Brilliant. Yes.
When I was reading through the history of the church, and just before the Pentecostal movement, where he was indicating the way Christianity couldn't spread because they were not able to preach vigorously, about Christ. But when I'm comparing it with now, actually I am seeing like currently the church out there is like it's going out there because it's like we are not impacting the society the way we should. So maybe if he's going to write another book and reanalyze, the general situation of the church, we might kind of be retrogressing, with the exception to churches which have adopted the church shift. But in the general out there, Christianity is still not impacting. It is still as it was.
Regressing,
then.
right?
Yeah.
That age.
Yeah.
One good thing about this book is that when you look at it from outside, you think, I don't think there's anything. You will not expect to see so much good information. Am I right?
Yes.
It doesn't look like a cashew book that you will really benefit from so much until you begin to go inside. Okay.
I think he's in the first section we've been doing. He's laying a foundation of church history so that he can introduce an example of what a church should be.
Yeah.
So that's what I caught. And the one area I want to hone in on is the postmodernism that crept in, because I grew up in that and watched people leave the church, or people my age. And what he really explained it in the sense that because of the lack of discipleship at that age and real Christian education, we were losing our young people in droves. And so I compared that with the video you showed last night, the way you teach your own children here, and we really need, it came out in the book, a revamp of kingdom discipleship for our young people.
Excellent.
I'm very grateful to God. I'm very grateful to you, Pastor Sunday, because today we can touch a model that the church that we have desired in our heart.
Amen.
But
Amen.
We don't have
didn't see
model,
it.
concrete model to touch it. And I think God put that desire in many people in the world.
Yes.
But today we have a model to
follow,
see, to reproducing in our nation, and that is a wonderful thing for the.
Thank you. Want to say something?
No, Pastor, I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay, later.
Yeah. Okay. Me also, it was what struck me was the postmodernism, especially about the youth, because it's one of the segments that I'm called to. So I paid special attention. And what they mention is that one of the spiritual issues that we may face is the notion of subjective truth. And this is created by the disconnect between what they learn in school, for example, the theory of evolution, and what the Bible says about the creation, right? And when I remember the teaching you had this morning about science, you know, it was first, second, and third law of Newton. And previously we had the law of conversion. And I was thinking there is probably something we can use from this to bridge the gap. You know, when we want to mentor this youth.
Yeah.
So maybe develop a curriculum around that and show them that there's no disconnect actually. It's confirmation of the Bible. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like the things that my sister was saying about the kingdom, the gospel of the kingdom, and also the two types of grace.
Yeah, that is really good.
That gave so many answers. And I just thought, a lot of people, I know young pastors, they are, looking at the church and, okay, they've read church shift, they can see the issue of good, but this issue of grace is being really, so it was demystified there.
Very good. Did you people notice that, the issue of grace?
Yes.
Universal grace and
special grace.
Special grace. Very good, very good.
So that answered a lot of questions. Also, going back to the time of reforms, I liked the way he set out the different types of reforms, because the syncretism that's so strong in the church, especially in South Africa.
Especially in Africa, yeah.
It's serious in South Africa. So it was, I like the way he did the circles and made it clear. I know we're wanting to get to the missional church, but we've still got to look at these models and see how do we actually shift out
So
of
maybe
that.
we should get this book out there too.
Yes, I think so.
Huh?
Yes.
Maybe this book is necessary for other people to open their eyes.
It's a crossover. You see, why I like it. I was in Bible school at Moody. I did all this academic stuff. It's a crossover book, meaning that there are some books that some audiences can read, but people with theological minds and all that, they won't find it comfortable. But the book can cross over into both.
You are right.
Because it goes, like special grace and all that, carvings, and all. And then it can help them to now see to shift.
Because most people will not read charismatic authors and charismatic books. They don't even read faith authors. But this everybody can read. Yeah.
I think that's an excellent.
Okay. I also like the history, how he went from the church history and how each one is building on the other. But when he got to the cell church, the planting of cell churches to grow the church, he made a comment that most of them failed because there were no trained leaders and there were no design programs. And to me, he brought the system. If there was a system in place that they could actually follow through, it would not
That
fail
is
as
good,
it
right, sister.
Yes, I also liked where he was talking about, he had revelation, so there was a pictorial revelation and another one about the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And he's saying that if you are not serving society, you are not really in the kingdom.
Yeah.
So he was showing the security for the believer, like the guarantee for the believer is to love God and love people. Yes.
You like that, right? That's the balanced gospel, right?
I'll piggyback on that.
So you cannot love God without loving people.
That was the part that I liked, the clarification on the kingdom of God, and I felt like he just brought a beautiful bridge of Old Testament and New Testament and integrated them very well together and explaining so that you could see even from the Old Testament. And I would agree, as far as grace, I think the church at large has missed it, particularly some traditions of the traditional church. Because we haven't even, grace has just simply not even been there. But his emphasis to explain even further the difference between the two.
And the fact that grace is available for unbelievers. And it's true. Because God, you remember, let them. He didn't just say let Christians. Let us, let them. It doesn't mean Christians or unbelievers. He has given them grace.
It causes the sun to rise upon the just.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Yes.
Yes, first, amongst all that they have said, when I came to page 134, just because Africa is my passion, he was talking about the full gospel. about full gospel being the gospel of the kingdom and the gospel of good works. Salvation, kingdom is salvation and good works. And he said that the thing that transforms society was the gospel that stressed the good works. But that the one that came to Africa was just the gospel of salvation. And salvation was preached and no works. And that's why we are wallowing in salvation.
That's true.
No.
That's true.
That stood out to me.
That's why half of Nigeria is born again, but nobody caring for the society.
Yes, and another thing he said, another thing that did for me too was, whenever I hear Full Gospel Baptist Church in US, I kept on thinking it's Full Gospel that speaks in tongues. I never knew that the full gospel, the way he explained it here, was the gospel of salvation and the gospel of good works.
Yes, but those people who are saying full gospel too don't know it.
Okay. When I hear Full Gospel Baptist Church, I think they are the ones that have accepted.
Yeah, that is exactly the way it is.
Okay, that's how it is. That was different.
So he is putting it in the perspective, in the right perspective.
Okay. Then another thing was being a Catholic before, when he was trying to say what the Catholics believed. They believed in faith and good works that leads you to the kingdom, not salvation.
Okay.
And
that was interesting.
Yes, and he said, Luther said no, it's faith alone.
Yes.
Then he said, but Luther was wrong.
Wow.
Because he de-emphasized the
good works, yeah.
And that has really done wrong to the
brilliant. Wow. Brilliant. That is profound. Huh?
Luther actually didn't want to accept the book of James. Yeah, he called the book.
He had a problem with it.
He had a problem with it. His thing was faith alone, sola pistis, So that's all. So book of James, but later he gradually accepted it. So he went to.
So because he wanted to totally disassociate himself from the Catholic.
Yes.
And went to the other extreme.
And Paul didn't say faith alone.
That's an Italian living country. I agree a little with him.
Yeah.
Because the Catholic influence is really
very strong. And it's a
pity
because so it means the Catholic people got some things wrong. It's a pity that they didn't get the faith thing.
Yeah, I like this book at the beginning because I took a history class, a church history class. So when you speak about reformer, I say, because I have a problem before by doing the quiz. Reformer, what is a reformer, what is reform, and what is reformation? And also I know all these definitions. But my attention was when he spoke about the church reformer and also the social reformer.
Yeah, that was good.
So when I studied, I said, well, I read this book. I am never HMT training. What the example I can prefer from this book? So I know that he spoke about Gandhi, something like that, of the reformer. And I said, what can I do with all this? Now, God tell me what. HMT and INT, you're not only one side. Because one side, Gandhi transformed the society. The Luther and all things. You say HTM is both of them.
Yes,
so you must make the church. HTM must transform the world. That's why you are pastor over here. And also the world, you can transform the world. Put the two together. You are not only transform on one side, on this side, but put it together. So my conclusion is this. I think for the 21st century, HTM and INT will be the great.
Amen.
When I was when I saw the table that was displaying there was going to be some negative reform, I was struggling. What's this gonna be? I could make sense of negative reforms, but when I got inside the book, I saw the church being a tragedy of the slavery. That broke my heart. But also when the Muslim came, as somebody pointed out, the church not being able to stop that. It broke my heart.
The failures of the church. Thank you. Okay. Have your seat, everybody. Pastor Peggy, you have a seat?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now tonight.
So the topic for tonight is organized righteousness. Organized righteousness.
Yeah, the topic for tonight is organized righteousness. So this is actually bringing us the whole day and the whole week is bringing us to this particular subject, to this day, to this conclusion. So the whole idea why we have been talking about systems and why we've been emphasizing systems is for us to learn how to organize ourselves, organize our works, and to organize people and everything around us so that we might be able to, in an organized manner, enforce righteousness upon the society. If we are not organized, we are not going to be effective in bringing righteousness to the society. Now, especially for you who have been here since Monday, have you noticed anyhow organized righteousness in the Ukraine? Especially you who have been here since Monday. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Here in the embassy of God. So, because the only time when righteousness, when we are talking about the gospel of the kingdom upon the society, the only way it makes sense to try to enforce righteousness is when it's organized. When it's not organized, you can just have domestic righteousness. Well, that will take you to heaven. It's not bad. You have something, but maybe not so much here on the earth, but you have something there in heaven. So that's not bad. But if you want to have multiple effects, if you want to have results around you, then you must make sure that you yourself are organized. That gives you and guarantees you more success. But if you organize your mission, your work, and people around you, that even guarantees you much more success in the society eventually. I want you to write this saying down. A man or nation without an organized system of thought, a man or nation without an organized system of thought will always be at the mercy of the man and other nations who has one. You want me to repeat?
Yes.
A man or nation without an organized system of thought will always be at the mercy of the man or nation or another nation that has one. Did you get it?
Wow.
I don't hear you.
Wow.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Who said wow? Do you think you were able to go around that statement?
Go around.
Yeah. Were you able to grab it? Grab it?
Yeah.
Who is able to grab it? You think you got it? Tell me what you got.
The difference between random and organization. The person who's organized and can think in an organized fashion can produce organized results, and that's a higher level than just doing random.
No, I'm not talking about that statement. Doesn't have anything to do with results. So who think he got it?
I think it has to be about influence and domain.
All right, let's start again. Let's repeat everything what you read. What you wrote. 1, 2, 3. A man or nation without an organized system of thought will always be at the mercy of a man or nation without an organized system of thought. Okay. So who can tell me got it? My village woman, my village girl.
The one who has an organized system, they are the ones who are ruling the world.
Brilliant!
And other people are the ones who are working the system.
Of course! Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Brilliant.
And there's a third kind.
Brilliant. Who else gets it? That's not the only thing there.
There's a wonderful book that actually makes this point so clearly.
They can hear you.
There's a wonderful book.
Talk to them.
There's a wonderful book. It's called The Wealth and Poverty of Nations why some nations are rich and why some nations are poor.
Adam Smith, no?
No, it was.
That's just the wealth of nations.
Well, this is now the wealth and poverty. Written by a guy called David Landis.
Yes.
And he made a point in there. He talked about how in America, one of the great leaps America made forward was a guy who was in Harvard, dropped out because he had the idea of how to systemize production and production factory.
You are going to a long story now. Make the point.
So the point is that discovery he made.
No, don't talk about that. Talk about this statement.
It ties to this statement because he talks about an organized system. So it came from an organized thought that replicated itself into production, into factory production. So an organized system was able to establish a new paradigm in factory production that came from that. It was not established.
So, okay, if you are saying the book is talking about why some people are rich, why some people are poor, it means the nations who are rich are the nations who are organized.
Absolutely.
Okay, and the nations who are poor are the nations that are not organized. Basic.
Then the second thing in the statement is individuals too. So
Okay.
because they're a man or nation, so people who don't have
an organized
system
of thought.
They are also subservient to people who have the organized system of thoughts. So
People too, individuals.
Individuals too.
Okay, very good. Yes.
Yeah, I think that somehow if you have something that is organized, you know where you're going, you will be the one who's molding the other ones who don't have.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's exactly what he's trying to say. Yes.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is about power and influence.
Good. Good. Very good. Very good. Power is not always where we think it is. Very good. Power is not always where you think it is. This is the source of power right here. Just for you to have an understanding, why have I been pushing you on systems all week long? I'm giving you a grassroots of power, a base grant. What do you call basement? Yeah, is
Foundation.
it foundation? No, I don't. I want to get another word. I want to give like something, not just foundation, but bedrock. I'm giving you the bedrock. I'm giving you the bedrock of power right here, all this way. So don't just think about making organized systems we have been talking about. Don't just think about your church. Don't just think about your ministry. About where I'm giving you the bedrock of authority, the bedrock of power, and the thing that will make everybody to count with you. If you will get it. If you will get it. If you will get it. I'm targeting bringing you to the top 1%, because that is the way they think. So don't just lightly, and it's good that you are doing those seminars too. Even if you are hearing them over and over again, keep on hearing them over and over again until you become experts and become so good, so that you begin to reason like that, think like that, move like that. I came to this country with $20. I don't know anybody. I didn't know anybody. I don't have anything. My whole village is 40 houses. How many? Who you are in my village? 40 huts, 40 houses in my village. I never wore shoes till I was 12 years old. But in this country, who was coming from the airport or somewhere in the plane, what did they tell you?
Said,
where are you going to?
Yes. No, I was reading the book.
Oh, my book, right.
So I just showed the guy, so I don't know who he was, so I just like to psych him up, because Luther said, look, you are coming as a tourist. I said, I bought this book at the airport and I learned this man is in the grave. So Sunday Adelaja, he's a very popular man, he's a very powerful.
Everybody is thinking like that, but I'm here with you. Nobody can believe that we can just see me like that. I can just sit down with people like this. That's what people are thinking in Ukraine. That is very powerful, very popular, and very powerful. You can't see him. So even when I go in town, people think he's not the one. No, you can't see. They don't know. No, you can't see. He's too powerful. They think I'm just in some cave, but it's not true. Power is not in all the things we normally think. What do you call bedrock of power is in what you are able to build. you will make and force everybody to count with you. You are in Chicago. We listen to your presentation. You might be thinking, people might be thinking you are small. Let them think you are small right now. But if you are able to put the systems we are talking about through, Washington will hear and count with you. Governor of your state will hear and begin to talk about you. It is easy to do this in the West because we do things that are good. People want to acknowledge you. But here, this is where they want to fight you. But still, principles work. See, they cannot deny it still, would you say? So get ready for recognition, all of you. But be serious with it. With this thing. Be serious.
Why is it easy in the West?
Because when you do good things, the government, if you build a system, not the government, by yourself in Denmark, where you are able to help 12,000 or 10,000 drug addicts, you think the government will recognize that? Big time. They might even sponsor it, the government program. They will give you grants. But here they want to kill me for it. Yeah. That's interesting. If the governor or your mayor of your city of Copenhagen comes to your church, you think they're going to come with you? Yeah. But here they want to kill me for it. So those are the things I'm talking about. If you are able to produce 300 millionaires, I'll be 200 millionaires in 3 years, you think anybody will come with you? Yeah, big time. Here, they want to kill me for it. If you are able to found 10,000 jobs in 3 years, you think people will come with you in the West? But here, they want to kill me for it. If you are able to help people establish 1,500 businesses in 3 years. Yeah, so, but don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what opposition you have. That's the point I'm saying. Even though they hate you, they don't like you, they want to kill you, but they will still count with you. I don't live in France, but they are showing me in France for free. For Canal 5, Canal 2, and all those things, systems. In Germany, I don't live there, but they are coming here with their own money to do that. Did you people get the New York Times article? Yeah. You know, I didn't travel. I don't go to New York. I'm just here in the under probation. But they come and see me under probation. The point I'm trying to say, let's repeat that organized system of thought. Let's repeat that thing again.
A man or a nation without an organized system of thought will always be at the mercy of the man or nation that has an organized system of thought.
And that's why I don't like to go to England, especially London. I don't like to go. And I wonder, I can't understand why Nigerians, people who live in Nigeria, they are running to go to London all the time. And if they, I think maybe 90% of people who travel out of Nigeria want to go to London. Maybe 90, maybe 70, maybe 50. But people want to go to London. But it's horrible there. I cannot live in London. I can live in England, but not London. Okay, the point I want to make now is about our people in London. But I cannot live in London for another reason. I cannot live in London because it's too narrow. That's maybe just my preference. It's too narrow, tight, it's rush, congestion. Congestion of everything. And houses small, rooms small, everything you have to rationalize, economize. Then they are pushing you. Oh, don't put on the water. Oh, they will put off the light. All kind of thing all the time. Then you cannot pass your car. You can go in the street. You have to stop for the other car to pass. Then in the night they are putting it in the road again. Just inconveniences, full of inconveniences. So it's not organized. And the reason is because. And it's not because they are not organized, but the beginning because they are conservative. Instead of them to rebuild the whole thing, to throw away some buildings, because they are conservative. They want to keep it the way it is, the 15th century. and see maintaining mothers, or it's just people who are suffering. They just making people suffer. Do you know the statistics? Only 40% white people live in London now, and out of that 40%, only 27% of them are English people. The other white people are coming from Poland and other people. Then the 60% of people living there are from Caribbean, Africa, and Asia people. Because they are all running away from London. They cannot anymore. They are going to other places. Well, but that's not the reason I don't want to go there. That's the reason I cannot live there. But that's not the reason I feel pain when I go there. The reason I don't like going there, I can go there, but I cannot live there. But when I go there, even I feel pain. I don't like to go there. America too, but America is a bit better. But London, I don't like to go there. And the reason I don't like to go there is because I get to see black people. It's because they are insulting me. Not black people are insulting me, but what they have reduced my people to. I don't like when I go to England the way I see black people look. It's insulting me. It's a slap in my face. I don't like to go there. France is worse than London. You don't want to go to France to see where Southern Paris and all those people, to see how black people. Huh?
So you are right.
Yeah, you don't want to see how black people are there. You don't want to see that. You see, you don't want to see black people in South Paris. You don't want to say. It doesn't make other people bleed, but it makes my own heart bleed. Because I know better. You don't want to see that. And when I'm in the car and they are taking me and driving me around and from my hotel or to the airport or some places, and I'm always passing by some black people walking around the street to go to work, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe 5 o'clock, or some black just cleaning the street and doing all those things. I don't even see them like that in Africa. And South Africa is like that too, yeah. But South Africa, at least you know there was injustice there. You know there was apartheid there, you know. But these are people who came on their own violation because they have been deceived in their mind to think they just need to get to London. And they are going to that place by themselves, you know.
Thinking they were going to paradise.
Yeah. So, and they don't want to go back home, and you see them all dressed and walking, all of them rushing. And then when you don't want to see the children. All the children are coming from public school, all of them look anyhow. No. It's very, very, very sad. Very, very sad. They said American blacks used to be like that in the 70s and in the 50s, but London is very apparent, you see. And Paris is even worse. But, so, why am I saying this? Any people or nation that doesn't have an organized democracy, that's what happens to them. But in that same London, I will sit by the roadside, I will see the most expensive cars in the world passing by like this. And I will see black people just walking. And all of them white people, you know. So you see blacks also, but maybe you can stand the whole day and can't stand on them. In the best cars there. And others are just rumbling. The one time, I told my host to take me to shop, to go, just buy shoes. So then I called my friends, I said, they are taking me to meet me in those shops. They said, no, don't go there. You said, why do you want me to go? So they mentioned the names of the shops where they do shopping. These are my own country people. My own. So when I told the white people who are taking me around, they said, no. We don't have those things, but please, Pastor, that's not for you. So they took me to a place. And in the place where they took me to, that's where I discovered that the cheapest shoe I could get there was 250 pounds. And then, but I didn't see, I only saw 2 black people out of 4 hours that I spent in those shoes, in those shops. Only 2 black people. I mean, you must supermarket, big ones. Black people don't go there. But in those places where my people were telling me to go, some of them you could get there for $1. And I didn't see one white man there. You can't believe it. This is happening in our world, 21st century. But I don't know what that does for you. But it doesn't make me feel good. Because I know better. I can improve all that. I can fix it. I can fix it. And I know why. But nobody is seeing it. Everybody just thinking this is life, this is just life. No, it's not life. Anyway, what do you want to say?
Yeah, it was a question. It's a question, just based on what you were saying, like transferring it to America now. About this.
Oh, South Chicago is like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, some of these, no, seriously, I feel what you're saying because
you could feel it, eh?
Yeah, I can feel it. But there's some injustice.
In the society.
Yes, underlying that are still. The effect is still there.
Yeah.
This, for example, there were some systems that were deliberately destroyed.
Put in place, right?
They organized some things to destroy some systems in those communities, like the educational system and all that. That still keeps people limited down. So how?
Well, we can fix it. You see, we can go against the system of the world. But the only thing that could beat an existing system is a better system. So we must build a system of righteousness. And that's why I want to teach you how to do it. I'm going to teach you how to build a system of righteousness that you could use to counteract, to challenge any system that is oppressive or destructive or limiting. And we don't just need to exclaim and be frustrated the way we are now, but really build some, because I don't live in the society, but build systems to challenge and to amend the wrongdoings and the wrong things that are there on the ground. So that's what we're going to touch on. But before I begin to teach you on how to build organized system, or organized, not system, we've been hearing our system, organized system of thought, I call it. Organized righteousness. Before I begin to teach you how to build organized righteousness, let me underline the importance of this organized righteousness. So, a man or a nation without an organized system of thought will always be at the mercy of the man who has one. That is why some countries don't have raw materials. Some countries are few in number, but they control. Let me show you an example of that. If you go to Asia, you could, Southeast Asia, you could go and see, and you will see the contrast of what I'm saying. Let me take Singapore and Indonesia. Indonesia is 200 and something million people. Singapore is just 5 million people. You can't believe this. Singapore has an organized system of thought and is controlling a country of 250 million. In influence and in power. Even people who are rich in Indonesia, they take their wealth and run to the border. Just 1 hour flight. They run across the border to take their wealth away from their own country where they got the wealth itself. And take it to the place where it's organized. Yeah. And go and use their own wealth. Instead of GM using it to build their own country, to go and use it to build the other country, because that place is organized. And that is happening with Malaysia, that's happening with Thailand, and with the proportion with that Singapore, for example. Of course, I'm deliberately leaving Africa alone. nation without an organized system of thought. So when I went to Nigeria before the election of Raji, that was when Tinubu was there. They arranged for me to see them, so it was the assistant that I saw. It was not Tinubu, but I think it was Pedro, that Raji, he was chief of staff or some chief of army staff or something like that. Or armed staff, head of staff or something. Yeah, so he was there, they were all there, yeah. So they were saying, what is my impression? They thought they were doing a good job of Lagos. That was before Fashola. I said, well, you want me to tell you the truth? They said, yes. I said, you want me to tell you? They said, yes. They said, I said the truth. They said, yes. So I told them, it's not just my opinion. I came with white Europeans, and the impression we have is that there is no government in this country, especially in Lagos. Do you have I know you are in government, I'm sitting with you, but that is the impression. No organized system. But Fashola fixed that. He was there, sitting down, listening to that. Thank God he came to fix that. But so I began to explain to them. They said, oh, the guy was smart. He said, what will you do? Not Fashola, the other one, Pedro. He said, what will you do differently? So I sat with them for about 2 hours, giving them ideas of how they could fix Lagos. But anyway, when there is, you can have everything. You could have everything at the tip of your finger. But when you are, when they are all not organized, you really don't have anything. I want you to get that. A man that has everything, all the wealth, all the resources, but without an organized system in all that, he doesn't really have anything. And I'll prove it to you. Proverbs 13:23. Proverbs 13:23. Proverbs 13:23. It says, much food is in the fallow ground, or in the ground, in the farm of the poor. But for lack of justice, or for lack of management, they perish. For lack of management, they perish. For lack of order, it says, they perish. For lack of order, they perish. For lack of order, they perish. Now, it says there is plenty, or what is it? Plenty, right? Or what?
Much food.
There is much food. Yeah, in the other translation, there is a plenty. Huh? Yeah. There is much food. Plenty of food in the field of the poor. If there is plenty of food, so why is he poor?
For lack of organization.
Plenty of food. Then you are still calling him poor.
That's Africa.
That's Africa. So what made him poor now? For lack of order, lack of systems, lack of organization, lack of management. So that's to say, a rich man, no matter how rich and wealthy you are, if you are not organized, you are poor. You are a poor man. The opposite could be true. The man is powerful and rich that has an organized system of thought. Everything starts from here. Thought. Thinking. The man is powerful that has an organized system of thought. He's rich, he's wealthy. Some of our houses, people cannot invite people there. Some of us, you better don't enter our bedrooms because it's bad news. Not organized. You are really poor. Even in public, you might look very successful, but if you cannot manage your own little area, you are really not rich yet. Because you cannot conquer the world until you conquer yourself. And you cannot manage the world successfully until you manage yourself. Start with cleaning your bed, cleaning your room, Some people, their socks is up there, and their shoes are there, and their pants are there, and their... Some people is everywhere on the floor, you know. So let's start with something small before we go to manage something big, you know. Take care of your socks and your sneakers and
organize wardrobes.
And your wardrobe. Organize wardrobe, then organize righteousness. Organize Bilio. So much food in the field of the poor. But for what? For lack of order. So let us know that systems, organized system, is the backbone of success. So a man or a nation without an organized system of thought will always be at the mercy of the one who has one. Pastor Adebi, you identify with me. What I'm talking about in London is not so apparent in America anymore like before. But in African churches that I've gone to, you have a lot of people like that who are just struggling and just, you know, living for survival instead of for future and for destiny. So those are some of the things we have to address. If we could make them to just sit down and plan their lives. Just sit down and put their value systems down. Just sit down and say, what do you even want? What does God want from me? Half of them will discover that they will do better at home than in America or in England. So. Because they have not organized their thoughts yet. How do you begin to organize your thoughts? Is what we have taught you, what we have said. Find out your mission in life. Find out your global vision. Tell people, teach people that. Let them people find out, do they have global vision? You will discover that some of them don't even have. Some of them, they don't even have a life mission. They don't even know. And people are not living a purposeful life. A life that is dedicated to bringing to pass whatever God created them for. Some of them are not even thinking about that at all. Or living a purposeful life that I am living exactly the thing for which I'm created. I am living it out. That I am pursuing the goal for which God created me. Most of them are just alive because they found themselves breathing. And I keep on breathing. I see everybody struggling. I have to struggle. So they just want to somehow survive. So what about if you drop dead in the process? I die. I don't know when it will happen. Before it happens, let me just keep on running. They're just running at that skate and that's all. So you don't even, what will you leave behind? Well, I don't know. Well, I hope I will not die. God forbid you. No, it's you who will die. Your enemy will die. Me? Not me. I reject it. In Jesus' name. Over my head. All those things, we need to remove them from those what do you call it? From those is it not superstition? I wanted to say. Is it superstition? Yeah. You need to remove. We need to just clear those superstitions away from them. To sit down. Press the delete button. Sit down first. Cool down. Let's just talk reality. Get away from the superstition. Well, it's organized system starts with the organized system of thought. It must start from there. But let's leave the domestic, personal, something right now. That's just talking as being an African myself. Just okay. Let's forget about the personal issues. Let's go for nations because that's what ancient history makers training is all about. Nations, all right. So if we're looking at our nations or spheres in our nations, and we are looking at the general body of Christ in our nations. And we are looking at ourselves representing the body of God, representing the change agent in our nations. And I want you to note what I'm going to say now. When the better people or righteous people Are we the better people, the righteous people of God?
Yes.
When the better people refuse to be organized, when people of God refuse to pay the price of self-management and organization, then the worst people in that community and the worst people in that nation will rule over them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry? You want me to repeat that? I want that to sink. You didn't hear, or you want?
That's what you preached to somebody in the church.
Yeah.
On to you.
Yes, yes. You want to repeat? You wrote it. You want to repeat it for him?
It says, when the righteous refuse to be organized or pay the price for self-management and organization, then the worst of them will rule.
The worst of those people, the worst of that community,
will rule
of that
over
nation,
them,
will rule over the best. The ungodly, the wicked, the unrighteous will dominate. And that's what's happening in South Africa. Right? South Africa is worse than Nigeria in that sense right now. Because the wicked people, because they are becoming a terror. You know, the wars are coming over. You can't believe that is the same country that produced Mandela. But
the ANC has had organized thought, organized system. And that's why they're
maybe not righteousness.
Not righteousness, but their organization is what has actually held them onto a high level of power when they are so corrupt and everybody knows it.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. The worst people are organized. When the best people and the righteous people are not organized, the worst people will be organized.
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Huh?
That's scary.
That's scary. Well, I think it's happening, isn't it?
It's reality.
It's reality.
So you're saying it's just organized, whether...
Yes. Evil, normally it's the evil that is easily organized because they know there is danger for them. They will destroy them if they don't organize. So evil is easily more and faster organized. Yeah, because they want to defend themselves. They know somebody is going to catch them. Somebody is going to put them in prison. So they get organized.
Because of the oppression that was against the homosexual community in North America, they began to get organized and started an underground movement to strategically put their people in 7 spheres. Specifically the media, like Much Music in Canada, and the fashion industry out of LA. And so now you see, over a period of years, how people are dressing now, and the music and videos that are being put out are all perversion.
Television, everything. It's just 4% of America that is gay. And it's ruling over 96% of the country that is not gay. And Christians in America who profess to be Christian are 70%. People who are born again are at least 30%. And they are just looking and say, we are losing our nation. Oh, pray for America. No, this gay agenda. Oh, America is falling. Oh, we don't know what to do about it. I was going into that America. I was just looking at them like that and thinking, how can people be so ignorant? People so stupid. I didn't know Christians in church are so, I'm sorry for that, but maybe not stupid, I should use a better word. And so naive and ignorant and so, stupid would have been a good word, but it's not. In darkness. Have you done it? Because I work mainly with the white Americans. And they are the ones who submit. They just put out their hands and say, America, oh yeah, that's not, America is gone, we lost America. Especially the white. They feel so helpless. They face Christians especially. And the people in the media are aggressive, the 4% are running the whole country. Because they are organized. Because of the pressure on them, because of something on them, the 4% became so organized that they are running the country. So, do you see that thing is true? This statement is true?
Yeah, that's true.
Even if you don't say it's true, even if you don't believe it, it's still happening. You want me to give you another statement like that?
Yes. Yes, sir.
When men with moral values, when men with high standards of moral and ethics refuse to come together and be organized, they pay the price for it by enduring the rule of the worst man over them. They will endure the rule of the worst man over them. Are you understanding me? The same thing in Scandinavia. The same thing in Scandinavia. The same thing everywhere now, especially in Europe. Let me give you another one.
No.
You want to help him repeat it?
When men with moral values or high standards of ethics or values refuse to come together and be organized, they pay the price for it by enduring the rule of the worst over them.
You got it?
Yes.
Yes.
Please, will you consider before we go also teaching us about moral courage?
Okay.
Because we need it to go along with it.
Moral courage. Tell Sweta to give me that before I go. Moral courage. All right. So, and let me give you another one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When men of ability, quality, and character refuse to seek leadership position, yeah, or political influence, or places of political influence, because that's church. That's the church, state of the church, worldwide. People in church and people like this, but they refuse to seek leadership positions or political positions. That's not only the church. You know what happens? Others who are worse than them exact their rule over them. Yes, that is the truth. This is a law. These things are principles. And you know where that is all coming from? God has given the earth to men. And he didn't say to which men. Let them. This is let them. It's all coming from there. So if the good men will not do it, tell you what, the worst men will do it. Are you following me? Now let me give you a scripture for that. Proverbs chapter 10. No, not Proverbs chapter 10. Did I say Proverbs chapter 10?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the one. Let's go to, I think Ecclesiastes would be good. Let's do Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Yeah, chapter 10, 5, right. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 5 to 7. Ecclesiastes. That's before Isaiah. It's like you don't read your Bible, huh?
No, I do it.
If you are suffering to find that thing, then you have not proved the fact of it. Yeah, he said, you don't mess with me, I'll find you. I get you very fast. So Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 5 says, there is an evil I have seen under the sun. You see that why the evil? Because the best men are refusing the place of responsibility.
Oh.
As an error proceeding from the ruler. You see, the best men, they are supposed to be ruling. Or from the prince. Fully is set in great dignity, while the rich sit in lowly place. I have seen servants on horses, while princes walk on the ground like servants. That's exactly what I'm trying to illustrate to you. The earth is given to men in general. I gave you that Psalm 115 in the morning, you remember? Let them. But when the men of moral standard, of values, of righteousness, are not organized, they don't want to pay the price of two prices you need to pay. The price of organization, being organized, and the price of responsibility. Those are two things you need to pay. If you don't pay those two prices, the worst men. You will walk on foot, you will walk on foot. And you will even be holding the horse for the servant. You are supposed to be the prince. And you are the one walking on foot. And your servants, who are supposed to be holding the horse for you, they are sitting on top because you are not organized. You are not gathered.
It is already so evident in Nigeria.
It's evident in Nigeria?
Very clear.
Tell me about it.
Okay. I'll give an
illustration.
An illustration. In Bayelsa State, where I'm running for office.
Speak louder, though.
In Bayelsa State, where I'm running for office, I remember on one occasion, I was invited by the state government to compare an event they were having, and the guest of honor was the deputy governor at the time, who is also a lawyer by training.
Okay.
And when he was giving his speech, and he finished giving his speech, I thought of many interviews I conduct for lawyers who are seeking employment in my law office.
Oh, wow.
And I thought if he came based on that,
are you serious?
I would never have employed him.
Are you serious? Even in your own office?
In my own office.
My God.
And here he was sitting
as the deputy governor.
Fantastic.
Wow. You are not serious?
I would not have employed him.
My God. And there are many instances, examples like that.
Yes. I would not have
So
employed
the best men are just sitting down doing nothing, or they are not organized.
Yes. I would not have employed him, sir.
Will you think, I want to ask you another question, everybody. Will you think, please, that there are some of you who are, wherever you live, whatever society you live in, do you think there are people in government, maybe not just political government, maybe financial leadership of your state, of your country, of your city, people who are in financial leadership, educational leadership, political leadership, who are ruling over the place where you are right now, that are actually worse than you? Are there people like that? Are there people like that? Huh? You think so? And you know the reason why? Because the better men, you, either not refuse to be organized or refuse to take responsibility, to pay the price for responsibility. Organized system of thought, organized righteousness. So that evil that Solomon said he saw, God is not just something bad because I said it. Even Solomon calls it an evil. An evil. When the worst men rule over the good men, it's an evil. When the when the worst men rule over the best men, when the ungodly men rule over the righteous men, it's an evil. And you know who is to blame for that? Not the evil man, but the righteous man, the best of men. Best man. Do you think we can change that?
We have to.
Do you think we have to?
We don't have a choice.
Do you want to learn the steps of how to begin to change?
Yes.
All these things that I've just said depend on what we call an organized system of thought. Organized system of what? Thought. Organized system of what? Thought. Organized system of thought. Starts with what? Thought. 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 Thought must be organized. The reason why the evil men and the worst men are organizing because they thought about it. The reason why we are not organized because we are not thinking about it. So thought then organized. Two things.
This is the sort of mafia. Mafia rule over town.
Mafia, brilliant. That's the way mafia people rule over the world.
Yeah.
Mafia people rule over the world like that. Mafia people rule over the world like that. There is a statement by Margaret Mead that I like so much in this regard. Then another statement that I like so much in this regard is from Genesis chapter 11, verses 6 to 11, or 4 to 11, especially verse 6. So let's read Genesis first. Will you read it for us? Why?
Genesis 11. So I didn't get the verse.
I don't know. I heard something at reading.
11.
Yeah.
11:6.
Have we all found it?
4 to 11.
11,
Chapter.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 11, verse
Chapter 11,
4.
4 to 6. Thank you.
4 to 11. Chapter 11, verse 4.
4 to 6, isn't it?
4 to 11.
4 to 11.
11.
Okay, Genesis chapter 11. I'll start from verses 4. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, and tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, "Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, and that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because the Lord confused the language of all the earth. And from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth.
Thank you. Now verse 6 says, "And the Lord said, Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language." That's organized system of thought, organized system. Because language is talking about thought. You can only speak what you have thought about. So, and this is what they begin to do. They didn't just think about it, they acted. So there is an organized system of thought here. There is an organized system of action here. And then now nothing that they propose to do, there is an organized movement here. So a system of movement. So what they propose to do will be withheld from them. So we'll see stages, different stages here, different things that are very vital here, which I will take you through gradually. And I want you to write down the citation or the quotation from Margaret Mead, M-E-A-D. That is the American anthropologist who was responsible, one of the people responsible for sexual revolution. And a very bad example, but she was a skilled specialist in anthropology and in observation of people and events. So she was good in that area, in sociology, anthropology, and anyway. But she made a good statement, which I really like, that which plays a very good role here. She says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people or citizens can change the world." I would like to use, that's what she said. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Then, semicolon, Indeed, comma, it's the only thing that ever has. Is the only thing that ever has. Is the only thing that ever has. Then that's the end of the quotation Margaret made. But we construed that quotation we have in our church. We have our own quotation that we use. And our own quotation says, never you doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought, can change the world. Indeed, only these kind of people change the world. That is from the Embassy of God. That is our own quotation here. You want me to repeat that, or you got it? Who thought he got it? No one got it.
I got it.
Okay, please repeat.
Never you doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only these kind of people can change the world.
Only these kind of people change it. Change the world. Only these kind of people change the world.
Yeah, that's better. Only it can change the world.
Not can again in the end.
Only these kind of people change the world.
Yeah. Present. Only these kind of people change the world.
Change the world. Yes.
Okay, that was it. Read it again.
Never you doubt that a small group of people.
Never you doubt
that a small group of people.
With a small group of people
with an organized system of thought.
You see, that's a very important part. With an organized system of thought
can change the world.
Can change the world.
Indeed, only these kind of people.
Only these kind of people do
change
change it. Yes. Only these kind of people do change it. Change the world. Only these kind of people change the world. Professor, what did you get? Because when you make that sound like that, I know something got it. When Professor does that like that, it means he's going to process something. He's about to release a bomb right there. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
You know, Pastor Sunday, I travel by God's grace through Africa. And you see the condition of our people, and the most painful part is our mental laziness, which is what Pastor Sunday is breaking here. And to know that you are giving us the key to changing our nations. But are we going to commit and break our old lazy habits and actually do it?
Well, Prof, if you commit and I commit, and those of us here commit, we can start there.
One of the things I like to watch are documentaries on how they build structures that they can't figure out nowadays how it was done. The pyramids and these elaborate things. Without taking it too far, do you think that that's how those things were accomplished?
Of course. Because those things are basically impossible to do.
Yeah.
It's just through organized system. Mobilization and systems. Organized system. Because some of those pyramids and some of those structures, they will mobilize as many as 50,000 people. In one building one something. But you don't see that these days. Just building one structure. Sometimes they will mobilize up to 200,000 people carrying bricks, no mechanism, no machineries.
Things that can't even be created.
Yes. Even now they cannot do it. Yeah. With all the advanced technology and things. Anyway. Are you already here?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, we are.
Because for you to be able to follow me, it's not going to be possible, right? You must have that quotation before you. Maybe you have it. What we just said. Huh? This one I just gave you. What you just read. The organized system of thought.
So we must have it
before your eyes, so that you might be able to follow me.
Yes.
Okay, let's repeat it again.
Never you doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only those kind of people can change the world.
Maybe it's better to say only this kind of people ever change it. Ever change it. Ever change it. Is it better to say ever change it?
Or only this kind ever change it. Because we're repeating people.
Only this kind ever change it, right? Is it better like that way? Yeah. Because I'm translating from Russian, really.
Do you want past tense, like have ever changed?
No. Present
have,
tense.
okay.
Ever change it.
Only this kind of people ever change.
Ever change it. We still need to use people or no need for people?
No, because we use people in the beginning.
Okay, say it again.
So it's never you doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only this kind ever change it.
But what about, let's use people again, just to underline it.
World, and even world again.
Even world again. No,
because you're talking of something on a large scope, so you want to keep emphasizing.
But people, I think we should leave people, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so if you keep people, how will it stand? How will it stand if you keep people?
Never you doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only this kind of people ever change it.
Okay,
well, you wouldn't actually say never you doubt. It would just be never doubt.
Yeah.
You wouldn't actually say never you doubt.
But it's not as powerful if you just say never doubt. Okay, you say it never doubt.
It just wouldn't be
you
correct.
If you say never doubt, you try to read it just by never doubt.
Never doubt is good. Never doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world.
Okay, maybe it might be better.
You could
maybe
say you should never doubt. That's the only other way that.
Maybe we shouldn't put ye, huh? Yeah, maybe we should just say never doubt, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Is never doubt okay? Good enough?
Yes.
Okay, just let's say never doubt. Este može, no sve ne bude bio.
I think it's better the way you said it. You should never doubt, so that.
You should never doubt is too. It makes it too simple. It's too. It's not. Yeah. It makes it. It's not. Yeah. That's conversation. That's more like talk.
Organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only this kind of people ever will change the world.
No, that's future. But we say people do it regularly. Yeah.
If you want to look at the grammar of it,
Yes.
you say never doubt that a small group of people with an organized system
Of thought, yeah.
can change the world. Indeed, only this kind.
Never did.
Yeah.
Only this kind.
That is what he was saying. But they wanted us to repeat that people again. Yes.
But in English,
Even though it's better English, but because of emphasis and the point we want to communicate, that's why we are saying,
Only this kind of
people do.
And say change it.
Ever do, right? Mm-hmm. Ever do. So we just do ever do, right? Okay, you have it, right?
Yes.
So there are things I want you to write now. I want you to write the next topic. Our next topic starts with that quotation. Under the topic is this: under what circumstances do small group of people change the world? No, maybe I should do it later. Under what circumstances do people change the world? I don't want to put small. Any group of people. Is that do people or do any group of people?
Do organize people.
No, I don't want to say organize. Is it proper to say that? Do people. Yeah, I want to just put it generally. Under what circumstances do people change the world? It's people who change the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Real people, ordinary people. Or people, maybe great people, but people change the world. So under circumstances, do you think it's an interesting topic for people to know?
Yes.
Under what circumstances
Yes.
is it possible for people to change the world?
Yes.
Now, the first thing, this is introduction, right? This is preliminary thing I'm giving you. Not the point. Later on I will give you point 1, 2, 3, right? But it's important to write this down too. It is not important what group can change the world. Or how do I say? It is not a certain group of people, a defined group. Yeah, that's a good thing. It is not a defined group of people that can change the world. It is not intelligent, intellectuals, or small group, or big group, or women group, or men group, or person group. It is not a specific. Is that the best way to put it?
It does not matter. It does not matter. Oh, sorry.
It's not a particular. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a particular defined group.
It's not a defined group, right? That's what I'm saying. It's not a defined or particular group of people that can change the world. Not a defined or particular group. The only thing that matters are other factors. Even a small group can change the world. In fact, the fact that it is small is an advantage rather than a disadvantage. That's important to know.
Sorry, please, can you repeat that?
So any group of people can change the world, especially a small group of people. The fact that you are small is not a disadvantage. The reason I'm saying this is because normally we are saying, oh, I'm small. If I had a big church, it's just, the only disadvantage I have is just that our church is small. Oh, the only problem I have is that our church is not big. Oh, the only problem I have is that we don't have too many people. Oh, if you could only have people. We are always thinking it is a lot of people that can change the world. We are normally thinking it is the big group that can change the world. That is what I'm saying, that even a small group can change the world, but even for a small group, it's an additional advantage to be small. Because for a small group, it's easier to change the world than for a big group to change the world. I don't know if you get the gist.
Yes, sir.
So the question I will have for you is that how many of you here ever thought or complained about the fact that if you had a 10,000 or 5,000, 20,000 church, you could have been more effective? How many of you ever thought like that? Frankly speaking. Okay, you thought if you had good or bigger followership, you could have been more effective. Okay. Critical mass. Yes.
Yes. I used to think until I saw Pastoral Without Tears, there was a scripture you put there that was just around when the church started, that their hands is little.
Yes.
And then the locusts and the other one, but they do big things.
Brilliant.
So that scripture became a watchword for me, and I shared that it doesn't matter your size, you can move big things. So even the lizard can move into king's palaces, even though it's little.
You can't even believe it. It's one of my scriptures today. Yeah. Proverbs chapter 6.
Yeah.
What?
No, it's in the spider.
Yeah.
Spider.
But I want to tell you really, that is one of the reasons I stood on my knees and begged people to leave the church. Because the more people, the more distractions. That's one of the things you must learn. The smaller the group, the easier it is to organize. When we are talking about organized system, It is always better with a small group of people. So that is why Margaret Mead said it, that a small group of people. We said it, a small group of people. They are the ones that quickest, most likely are liable to change the world and organize a organized system of thought than a big group. So your smallness is not a disadvantage. Did you hear Jesus say? How did Jesus put it?
Fear not, little flock.
Ah, you got it. Fear not,
little
flock. Because it is
Father's will
to give you
the kingdom.
See, who does God give the kingdom to? I don't hear you now.
Little flock.
I don't hear you now.
Little flock.
Can you help me find that scripture there? In this, can you somebody help me there? Fear not, little flock. Because it is that Father's will to give you the kingdom. At another citat to start it. Yeah. Anybody has it?
Luke 12.
Luke 12. 32. Luke 12 what?
32.
32. Luke 12, 32. So what Jesus is saying is that he's affirming the same truth and the same fact that it is actually easier, and it's to your advantage that you have a small group. It is easier for a small group to change the world than for a big group. So that's why he's saying the small flock, don't bother about it, don't worry about it, don't be concerned, because even when you are small, you stand a better chance of taking the kingdom. And that's the dream. Everybody wants to bring the kingdom. When will your kingdom come, Father? When you bring? He said the small group can do it. The small flock can conquer and subdue the kingdom. The kingdom of Great Britain. You don't need to be too big. So the question, the main question we have to answer now is, so what are the criteria that, because sometimes small group do change the world, but also you should know that sometimes big group do change the world. All right? Sometimes the group of men do change the world, but sometimes the group of women do change the world. Sometimes a group of peasants change the world. Sometimes a group of bureaucrats change, bourgeoisie change the world. Or sometimes it can be any group of people. But a small group is not a disadvantage, just for you to know that. It is rather an advantage. So it doesn't matter what group, big group, small group, or whatever group, what matters for you to be qualified to change the world is something different. There are certain points or certain parameters that must be in place before you'll be able to mobilize and organize your team to become a world changer. That's team. Number one, you must have what we call do I have it in English? Sweatly Mistly. Do I have these points in English? I don't have this note in English yet, so this is all in Russian. But how will I say it? Sweatly Mistly. Sweatly Mistly.
Bright mind.
Yeah, you don't use bright mind. You don't say
Intelligence.
You must have a thought. What do you call thought? It's not bright thought, but inspiration. You must have a divine inspiration. Yeah. You must have a divine inspiration or divine enlightenment. But what I mean by that is you must have a thought. Does that communicate?
Yeah.
Yeah. You must have divine inspiration. Everything starts with divine inspiration. Some people don't use the word divine sometimes, Just a thought. Just inspiration, if you want. All right? So you must have everything, every revolution starts with an inspiration. Even people like Salvador Dali, people who are not born again, people who are the great artists and the great, authors, Julius Caesar, or what they call it, Shakespeare, and all, they all talk about inspiration that they get. They have inspiration. They don't know where it's coming from. Everything starts with an inspiration. Inspired to do something. An idea. You can put that in a bracket and just say a wow idea. Or
big idea.
A big idea, yeah. Is it? Huh?
Like a light bulb movement.
A light bulb movement. Light bulb movement?
That's another one too. It's a phrase.
Okay.
A light bulb moment.
Yeah, light.
Because the light bulbs are coming on. Something.
Anyway, a big idea, people say in America, big idea. But it's a wow moment. It's a wow idea. Huh? It's a wow factor, right? But we're talking about idea. Everything starts with an idea. All divine inspiration, but an idea. It has to be with an idea. Okay? Everybody have. So never doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought, underline that word, you see that thought? So that thought we are talking about is what I now have taken out. But in Russian, in English, it doesn't come out as thought, that a divine thought, or you don't call it like that. So we call it inspiration. So that thought is what we call inspiration. All these points that I'm going to give are going to be coming from this. All right?
Yes.
So the first condition for any group to be able to change the world is that to somebody's mind will come an inspiration, an idea that we can do this. We can. What about doing this? What about a burden? That's what we call it sometimes also. Somebody must have a burden. That is an idea. It's an idea, it becomes a burden. Okay, we all agree to that?
Yeah.
So it starts with somebody's mind. It starts in someone's mind. An idea, an inspiration. Number 2 condition is that inspiration must become, number 2, it must become an organized thought. Or what did I call it, Professor, the other time? Organized thought. The thought that becomes captured, it will be captioned. Do we use the word captioned? That inspiration must be captioned in okay, it must become an organized thought. Okay, let's just call it organized thought. Maybe we'll find later a better word.
Caption.
Yeah, organized thought. That's number 2.
Yeah.
So what do I mean by that? You have inspiration, but sometimes your inspiration cannot be put in words. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have a great idea, but sometimes you cannot synchronize it or
capture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Capture it in a caption. It must be organized. It must become an organized thought. It must become an organized thought. Yes.
What's coming to me is it must be captured and translated into a clear vision, a clear mental picture. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. It must become a mental picture. Right. That's a better word. But the reason I'm using organized thought is because I want it to be derived from this quotation. If I use a vision or something, we are going to walk away from this basic quotation. Okay. I want the things we are using to be connected still. But you remember that it's connected. You could put all that in bracket.
Are we then saying that one of the characteristics of it being an organized thought is that it must have a clear picture?
Yes. Now, a clear picture, right? So organized thought, you can put organized thought and then put clear picture or somewhere put that. So what do I mean by an organized thought? An organized thought is not just a thought you are able to construe or construct well, or you are able to express. Everybody can express a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that it's an organized thought. an organized thought is something that you are able to construe and formulate clearly in your mind until you could see all elements of it. All elements of it. That is to say, an organized thought is the idea, the thought, the inspiration that has been dissected and that has been clearly understood so much that it has now become a clear picture in your mind. It has become a clear picture, mental image. For example, the other day we were talking about, yesterday and today we were talking about systems, right? That we should build our life purpose, our life goal and purpose. Many people know who they want to become, what they want to do in life, right? For example, somebody could stand and say, I know who I want to become. I want to become the president of my country. But he knows about that. But he doesn't know yet how to construct it, how to go from here to become a president. He knows he wants to become a president. It has a clear thought, right? But that is not an organized thought. If that clear thought, that inspiration, that's the idea, that's just the first stage, becomes an organized thought only when he is able to clearly put all the elements together and say, this is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. This is exactly the joints I need to put together. When the time all these joints, I can climb this ladder and become the president. You must be able to see clearly how to do it. That is when it's a mental picture. You must see the picture and with all the elements. For example, I might say, I know I want to live in a house, four-story house, right? I want to live in a big house. That is just number one. Good thought, good idea. Good idea, wow idea. But that doesn't mean I can't see it. It's not a picture in my mind yet. Maybe I even see the picture. Just general idea, general picture. People do that. They do and take picture of buildings. You can see the facade. Yeah, that's good. But seeing the facade of the building doesn't mean the same thing as what? As having an organized thought. It becomes an organized thought when you see the rooms, the color, the floors, when it becomes a picture that an architect could actually draw and put down. You understand what I'm saying? Then that is an organized thought. You know exactly what you want and how to get there. So a general idea is to have an idea of what you want, but it becomes an organized thought when you can say from the idea to realization how you want to go about it. I don't know if you get it still.
So when it becomes a clear image in your mind.
When it becomes a clear image in your mind. For example, let me give you an example. That is what Professor wanted me to do the other day. Now, if I say, the word Yablaka. 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 Can anybody say that? Yablaka. Yablaka. Say it again. Yablaka. Yablaka. Who can write it? Yeah, come on, write it. Yablaka. Yablaka. Yes. Yablaka. No, it's true. It's true. Yablaka, right? Brilliant. Clap for her. Clap for her. Clap for her. She wrote Yablaka. How many of you know that she could write it? Yeah. Then how many of you know that she could even pronounce it? Yeah. How many of you just pronounce Yablaka right now? then how many of you can read it and see it written? You know how it's written, and you know how it's pronounced, but how many of you can draw it for me? How many of you can draw it for me? Huh? Why can you draw it? Even though you know what you want, the idea is there. You are talking about it. You are pronouncing it with your mouth. But any thought or any teaching or any word any message that you've heard, that's what happens in our churches. Sometimes people come to our church. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise the Lord. What's the message? They hear the message you teach, you preach to them. They hear it, they heard you. They can even pronounce it. They can even repeat some words to you. But until it has become a picture in their mind. For example, if I say, let's pray to God. Faith begins to be released when I pray. I say, okay, let's pray to God. All of you pray, right? But if you don't see yourself before God in your mental image, when I pray to God, I pray differently from you, and my prayer gets answered. God will hear me. He might not hear you, I don't know, but he will hear me. You know what the difference is? Listen closely. You know what the difference is? Because when I pray, I don't just pray. God, that's praying in the air. That's throwing your words to the space, to abstract, to just, Father, in Jesus' name. Do you see anything? I see. Until you see, I don't see God, or I don't see picture, but I can imagine. Close your eyes. Can you imagine Pastor Sunday in front of you even with your closed eyes? Yes. Am I here?
Yes.
Okay, what if I'm not talking? Am I still there?
Yes.
Even though you might not even remember my clothes, you might not see me or my face, but you can still feel that somebody is there, right? I'm there. I am here, right? Yeah. So also with God. You can open your eye. When you are praying, I can see myself as a child. I can see that God is before me. So I'm asking, Father, in the name of Jesus, I ask that you will do this. I am not asking abstractly. I'm seeing him give me. It's here. I'm not believing somewhere in the here or trying to believe or catch up with him somewhere. No. He's right here with me. He hears my prayer. He's not far from me. He's not in heaven. If you are still praying to God in heaven, it's a long way before the answer comes. but so it's not an organized thought. So anything that you cannot picture, you don't possess. I don't know if you are getting it. Anything you cannot picture, you don't have. You have just exercised. You have just done something, but you have not received something. Yes. If you want, you can use visualize. If you want, you can use imagine. If you want, you can use, you must see, you must capture the picture. Only something you can picture, you possess. Okay, how many of you possess and know what you have black eyes? Do you possess it even though you pronounce it? No. Even though you have written it, do you possess it?
No.
Even though you're talking about it, you don't have it yet. We only possess what we can picture. And when I talk about picture, if I say I'm going to become president, okay, good words. Can I picture how I will go from here to there? That is when I can possess it. Okay. Let me give you another example. Bread. How many of you know bread? The one you eat. Bread. Black bread. White bread. How many of you have eaten bread before? How many of you know what bread is? But how many of you know the process of producing bread? I don't. Because I don't know I can't picture it. I know bread, I see bread, but I don't know the process of production. I cannot picture it. Because I cannot picture the process of production, There is no way you could tell me, go do it. I cannot do it until you train me. I don't know what you get. Are you getting what I'm saying? Talking about.
Yes.
So it's the same thing like saying I want to become president. I was a bread. I have bread. I see bread, but I see the facade of bread. Anything you cannot picture, not the facade. When I'm saying picture, I'm saying you must see the process of from here to there. So when you are able to see the detailed process of how to get from A to B, B to C, A to Z, you can see the whole mechanism. That is when you have an organized system of thought. Not system yet, but an organized thought. An organized thought. Not system yet, sorry.
Can you say that one more time?
Only when you can picture a mental image of what you are thinking or talking about, only when it has become a picture to you from A to Z. Not just talk about it, Yablaka. Not just write it or hear it. That doesn't give you Yablaka. But when you can clearly imagine it and see, okay, go bring me Yablaka, go bring me Yablaka. Can you? You are just sitting down. Even though you pronounce it, you can't get it. The same thing. Anything you cannot picture, you cannot produce. Bread. Go bake bread. I cannot bake it, even though I can picture bread, but that's the facade. I cannot process it. I cannot do the process. I cannot process it. I cannot process it in my mind. Because I cannot process it, I cannot picture it. I cannot possess it. Anything you don't picture, you cannot picture, has not become an organized thought. And you cannot possess it. You can only possess the thing that has become mental picture. That has become organized. Organized is all the different thoughts that you are having ideas, put them together. Build a system. That is what we call system building. That is the 75% of success. Sit down. If I want to produce the bread, I must sit down, find out the ingredients that I need, put the ingredients together, right? Write about it, put it one step by step. When I can put everything together and put from all these different ingredients and pull them together to be in my mind, one picture of A to B, A to Z, how to make bread, and I can see it clearly, then it has become my own. I can now go and make bread. It has now become organized thought. It has become a picture. Anything you cannot picture, you don't possess. So most people who come to our churches, we preach to them, but they leave churches without any picture. And you think they got it? They didn't get anything. Anything you preach about, without them saying the picture of, not just picture of people organized righteousness. No, they must see themselves involved. They must see how they go, how they get involved, I'm going to do it. There was a time, the last retreat we had, when Bishop was talking, I heard you shouting when you were sitting down. Bishop was talking, I got it. You are saying that. He saw the picture. I can see it. I can see what to do in Chicago. I can see. Then another time, you are saying, oh, the homeless mothers, or what do you call it? Single mothers. I see it. I can go and do what we're going to do. That is what you possess. And that's what you did. It is what you've seen. And picture how you yourself will be able to go and do it. That's why I'm asking you. Come, talk to me. What did you get? What did you get? What are you taking away? Do you see me constantly doing that? I want to know if you have a picture or not. So when you are sitting down and you don't want to talk to me, I say stand up. You are in trouble. You must speak. You must see something. Are you getting it? So you know what Yablaka is? It means apple. Now, how many can see apple? How many can see apple now? I can see. Organized thought has come. Mental picture has come. So if I say, go get me an apple, you can go there and get it. You see the difference? whatever you cannot see mentally. If it's not an organized thought for you, if it cannot become a picture like that, you cannot possess, you cannot go get it. I don't know if I'm making it apart. So, who are the people to change the world? Never that a small group of people, it doesn't matter if they are small or big group of people. That is rubbish. It doesn't matter. Too many groups of people, small and big, who are not doing anything. But even if you are big as China, you might not change anything if you don't have these conditions. You must have an idea. Then number two, you must have a clear picture of execution. From A to Z of that idea. You must have the picture, not the action now, just the picture. But that is even not the end of the thing. That's even not the most important. Those things are important, but that's not the end of it. The next point for you to be able to, for a group to be able to change the world. The first condition, what do we call the first condition? Inspiration. Or organized, divine inspiration or idea. Inspired idea. Oh, that's a better word. Inspired idea. That inspired idea, now, after it has become organized picture in my mind, all right, are you getting it now? Now, must be the same inspired idea must be planted into the minds of people around me. Small group. So it doesn't matter if that's a small group or a big group. If I could succeed, even if it's in 10 group I have, even if it's 100 group I have, it doesn't matter, a big group, small group, but what matters is the ability to be able to plant that inspired idea, inspired thought into the mind of my people around me. Yes, sir.
I just saw something now from that. Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream. That was the inspired idea.
Brilliant.
He had a clear picture.
Brilliant.
And he planted it in mind.
The whole mind of the whole America.
Wow. He gets somebody the picture, he said, I saw white, he saw white.
He saw the picture.
I saw white people sitting up with black people.
He saw the picture.
I saw this, I saw my...
So he had not just inspired idea, he had organized thought.
Organized thought.
When you have that organized thought, you are excited.
Yes.
No,
you are very smart. I'm just going there. You are very smart.
And the price is not so...
It's not so difficult to pay the price. Only when you see the picture, when you have had organized thought, that is now what propels you. That is when you become on fire. That's when you are ready to turn the world around. That's when you are ready to pay the price. That's where you are ready to go against everybody else, even if nobody believes in you. And that is the energy that pushes you to want to convince him, and convince her, and convince them to believe with you, and tell them it can be done, because you have seen a picture. Are you following me?
Yes.
What was the third step? Did I give you step, sir? What was the third step I gave you? You plant, or you infect the people around you with that thought, with that inspired thought. Number 4, inspired. But you remember, you just infected them, or you just passed to them the inspired thought, not the organized thought. See the difference? Yeah. So what would the inspired thought do to them as against organized thought? I want to see who thinks fast out of you. What would organize if we impart inspired thought to them and stop, and you don't go ahead to develop it into organized thought? What is the difference? Yes.
inspired thought creates the emotional energy and why we should do it.
Excitement.
The organized thought gives clear direction what to do.
Okay.
One with the other leads to frustration.
One without the other.
One without the other
Okay.
leads to frustration.
You want to say it differently?
Yeah. Yes, the inspired thoughts create excitement and motivation.
Okay.
But the organized thoughts is what's going to actually lay the bridge to getting it done.
Yes, the guidelines.
The guidelines.
So, very good. So, that's the third step. We inspire them with your inspired thought. But if we just tell them and get them excited, that's what we do in churches normally. People get excited and shout and do the...
That also related to the...
But they will not do it.
Version.
And you'll be wondering, why have they not do it? But they were... I was like that. But they were... No, I'm happy now, but they were shouting now. But I told the God they said, but why have they not produced the result? You have just made them to say yablaka. They don't know. They thought they know what it means, but they don't know. A lot of things like that we think we know what it means, but we don't really know. Even sometimes we make them to write yablaka, but they still don't know. They don't have the picture. They don't have the picture. They don't have the picture. Will you take the word back with you, yablaka?
Yes.
The Russian or Ukrainian.
You're Russian and Ukraine, the same thing. So the fourth step for people to be able to change the world. Yes, sir.
The fourth step, you said,
Inspired thoughts. Plant it into your people.
yes. Why not the organized?
It took is next.
One comes for the other.
One must come before the other. If you just go and bring the organized thought to them without inspired thought, they don't have inspiration. They are just thinking you are putting them in the Bible school. Yeah. They just think you are giving them theology, that's all. They don't even know what you want them to do with it. So you must get them excited that we can change the world. Inspired thought is something like, we can change the world. We can bring change to this country. Wow. Is it? Yeah, I believe it. See the picture. It's going to work out. God has done it before.
Many of the post-independent...
Speak louder, please.
Okay, many of the post-independent African leaders, in fact, many politicians tend to inspire our people through just inspired words.
Yeah, all the Nkrumah, all the, not just the post, just the pre-independence, during independence, yes, post-independence.
If Lee Kuan Yew made that observation, he said they were mostly talkers and not doers.
Yeah, inspirational leaders. Yeah, up to now we still have that.
Yes.
That's why I say I put off the television in my place here, because that's what they are all talking about. Possibilities, but they are not giving the blueprints. Yeah, they don't have the picture, you see. So, number 4, right, is now when you will plant into the minds of your people, what? Organized thought. What does that mean in practical terms? Make them see the picture, the full picture. Let them catch the picture of Yablaka. Let them see where they could get Yablaka from. Let them see where they could go from where they are to where that Yablaka is. And how they could get a hold of it and bring it, to take it and bring it to you. Let them just see the picture of the bread. Teach them all the ingredients of making bread. Put it together, lay it before them, and cause them to see a general picture of how these different ingredients of flour, sugar, pot, fire, cooker, all those things could all come together to bring in this one product we call bread. I don't know if you get it.
Yes.
We do. So plant that into their mind. Now let's read the statement again. Can everybody look at?
Never doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only these kind of people ever change it.
Okay, what are they? We are now in.
Should we change it, not change it?
Ever changed. Ever changed, without D, without no D, yeah. Without D, ever change it, yeah. So now, can you people point out to me or for me how many things have been covered here? How many points have been covered? How many key words have been covered in this? In the 4 points I've given you. Yeah. Small group has been covered. Thought has been covered. That's number 1.
Organized. Inspired thought. Organized thought.
Yes.
The system has not been covered.
Ah, you are very smart. You are very smart. You see, we have already reached organized thought, inspired thought. Where is the system? Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Are you getting it now?
Yes.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Are you really catching it?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead. Can I go ahead?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing you want to do is that you want these people, no, not these people, you want to start with yourself. You want to improve on yourself. You keep on working on yourself. Even though you are the visionary, you are the something card, you carry the vision. But you want to keep on working on yourself for the inspired thought that God gave you. You have already worked, it has become organized thought, but you now want to work on yourself. Somebody said, one of the teachers taught on the difference between structure and system. That if you do something one time, that's just structure. But when it's become a closed circle, a closed circle, is that what we call it?
Yes.
Yeah. And it rotates and goes around automatically by itself. It can sustain itself. That's a system. So you must now work on yourself. That's number 5th point, right? Yeah. The leader, you must work on yourself and work to convert your inspired thought and organized thought into a process or a system. Let's say a system in your mind. What's the difference between the thought, the organized thought I've had, and the picture I've had? What is the difference between organized thought and a system of thought? It must become a system of thought. So you call it, let's call it system of thought. What is the difference? The difference is this, that, for example, I could have done bread one time because they gave me the ingredients and they showed me how to make the bread, the white bread. I made it one time, but I didn't fix it to remember it. I didn't put all the things together. I just made it in one place. Then by the time I came the next day, they scattered the whole place. That happened to me a lot in Africa when I was growing up. They've scattered the whole place. I don't even remember where is it. I didn't build a factory. Because some people can make bread one time, but if they don't build factory, they will not make it the next time. Even if you can make it the next time, you still have the knowledge, but you will not make it in serial production.
Yeah.
You know, you just make it for yourself to eat, but it will not sustain you because only you and your family will just eat. And then you will still need to be hungry tomorrow. But if you make it in the factory and put it in a system, that is a system now. You make it in it and it's working all the time. You can produce more and more bread for everybody. So a system of thought is when I'm not just saying, let's say we want to change Ukraine, and I'm saying let's do it through political something. So you now got that and said, we'll stand up, please. You are running for governorship right now, right? That's a wonderful idea. Is that a bright idea? Is that a what? Inspired idea to become governor? Yes. And he's doing it. He has already won the primaries in his party. He won it. So he's successful. So it means he has a system. He has an organized thought. Yeah? He won it. Let's say he becomes the governor now. Yeah? But he becomes the only governor in Nigeria. I mean, he becomes the only governor from his team. He's just the only governor. Christian, you know. And he's just the governor. He's the governor and he's doing well. Everybody's coming to him. He's a big guy. He's signing signatures. He's putting his contracts. And we're asking, we used to know him. We are studying history makers together. And have we been successful? But success, real success, is when the whole process of him becoming governor is put in a system so much that it's not only him alone who could become governor. But he has put a structure, a system. He has that structure in mind, but he has put it in the recycled system that can go around so that he could now say, no, this is the way I became. And now we have a whole thing. So first of all, you must start thinking like that. That I have become governor. It is not enough for me to become governor. The idea, the thought, the inspired thought now must become systemic in his mind. You know, begin to think that no, this is not just for me. I must now figure out how to make these people produce the same result in 36 states of Nigeria. At least 10, maybe 5, then so that is system. It means I'm not doing something just once. I am putting a system in place to make sure that if one ever do it, if one ever does it,
can be replicated.
It's now put on a system regularly when the same thing could be replicated over and over again. So that is thinking like that by itself. If we could have one home group in our church, we could have 20 home groups. If we could have one, we could have 200 home groups. If we could have one successful leader, we could have 20 leaders, 30 leaders. That is what I've done here. I was able to produce one leader, Pastor Natasha, and you are talking about sons, producing sons. Yes. I was able to produce one, then I put it in a system. The way I was able to produce that one, I now put in a system to be producing leaders like that. So it has now become more and more, thousands and all that. I was able to register one organization. We were able to now say, okay, let's do it now to be able to do 20 organizations, 200, 100, 500 organizations. We were able to get one person into politics, into government. We can now say we can put, I don't know if you are good at that, but it has to start from your mind. You begin to think like that. Only systemic in everything you do. We're able to produce 1 millionaire, we can now do it on a serious basis.
This would explain how you take over the world. When you look at the Roman Empire, or you look at even in a negative perspective, but what Hitler did with the Nazis, in indoctrinating them with, he created all these different ones that had to go through schools and trainings, and he just mass produced them and took over locations.
Well, if you are talking about the Nazis, look at the gay people. Yeah. The gay agenda people, everything they've done in America that has worked, they are now doing in every country of Europe. They are not even taking it to Africa to enforce it. You see, systemic thinking. Systemic thinking. If they have breakthrough in media, they want to make everybody. If they have the parliament support them here, they want everybody to now do it. It's systemic thinking. But it must start from the mind of the person who got the original inspired idea. I don't know if you are following me.
Yes.
So now that you are already thinking systemic in your mind, that's number 5. The next point, number 6. Is that you must do the same thing with your people. You must now teach them that we are not just doing one thing one time. We are producing a machinery to produce governors for other states as well. We are now putting this in a serious mechanized system that will be working to make sure that just like we have won one state, we can win many other states as well. Are you getting me now? We are not just, somebody had me when I said in America, if I had been in America like one of those big pastors who have built a church of 5,000 in one city or 20,000 and everybody's just coming to them, they are just railing, or what's the word I'm looking? In their glory and reveling in their glory and in their something, and everybody's seeing them on television and like, oh, that's the big man of God. I say, why should he have just one church? The churches are rich. They are big. I know some of them, one offering is $1 million or more. And why should you just have one church? If I were the one having this kind of church in America, I will go and make sure that I have at least other churches all over the states. All 50 states of America, I will have one church everywhere. So even in Ukraine, where it's not all the same possibilities, I still have 300 churches in this country. You know, why are they just satisfied with just one? There's no system. They are just satisfied that they are successful. Oh, I'm the big shot. I come on television. Look at me. You know, make it. I will build 5,000 church. I'm a member church in all the states, and I will make sure that maybe I have at least 500 churches all over the country. Then anything we say becomes a national movement. But people don't think like that system. If we begin to systematize all our actions, all our ideas, we could become world changers. The only people who change the world are people who have these things, all these conditions met. Where is the thing? It disappeared? Okay. Only people who think like this. Are you getting me? So you must get your team. You must organize your team to begin to think as a system. That everything they are doing, not just one thing system, but all the other things that says, who saw this particular quality? Who saw this particular characteristic in my people you have met so far? Who noticed that? Is it just me who is thinking systemic now? No. Did you notice that? Yes. That is what I never had before 2 years ago or 3 years ago before I started this. I could do it. I could make them do it, but they couldn't do it all by themselves. They couldn't on their own without me, without mine. But now they can without me. They can on their own create their own system. Before I created all the systems.
That's why the pressure and the pain.
Yes.
Can I ask you a simple question for verify me that I am okay? That the inspirational idea for inspiration is like I see me in Kiev in history maker training. It's Basilar. I'm in France and I see me. I am an idea. I see myself in history maker training.
Yes.
The organizational talk. It's now.
Where will I get the money? Where will I get the ticket?
Now I see the plane. The possibility.
No, not just the plane.
And the system is all the details, sub-details.
Yes.
The money, the car, buy the ticket, all that.
That's not system. No. The organized thought is, okay, I want to go to Kiev. I mean, sorry, the inspired idea, I want to go to Kiev to history makers training. Wow, great idea. Okay, I want to be there. The organized thought is, now, if I want to go there, where will I get the money from? Where will I get, how will my wife let me know? What will my job release me? How will I get all those things you must see? I'm going to talk to my boss to give me this week. I'm going to talk to my wife to take care of the case. Where will I get the money from? That is all organized thought. Okay. When you can fix all that and can see, yes, I see it. Okay. It has become a picture. I see how to resolve this. I can get it. That is organized thought. Then the organized system is, I shouldn't just go one time. They have stage 2, stage 3, stage 3. I must do that, finish the whole thing, then bring it back to begin to do history makers training on my own. I'm raise my own people. That is now, system. But then not just for me, then to my people and then others. Yes. Yes. Where did we stop?
Number 6.
Number 6. So let's mention all the 6 we've done. 1.
Divine inspiration.
Number 2.
Make the inspiration
Okay, number 3.
Plant the inspired thoughts
into the minds of others.
Okay, number 4.
Then plant the organized mind. The organized inspired thoughts.
Number 5. System. The leader must begin to think systems.
Yes.
System of thought. System of thought. Then the next one.
Your people.
Yes, you must have system of thought for your people. All right, the next point, number 7 now?
7. Yeah,
number 7 now. You must have organized action. This way, is that it? Because change the word. Is what? Change is what?
It's action.
Action.
Yes.
You must have organized action. So organized action starts with you. You go to your people and organize your people and go to or put people around you. Maybe you didn't have anybody, you didn't have a team. You go and invite people. You go and organize action. You must begin to act. And your action must start with your team. Your action must start with people around you. Your action must start maybe with yourself, with writing down, sitting down to go and write down what you want. Or create a put down all those things in paper maybe. Then after that you've organized yourself, you must go ahead and organize your people. So organized action. Under organized action, you can just put organized by yourself. Okay, let's separate it. I'm sorry. Let's just put the next number 7 point is organized action, which includes organize yourself, your ideas, that God has given to you, put it down in writing, write down a system of what do we call algorithm? We call it the last time. Write down the algorithm or the formulas or the principles. Yeah, write down the principles. That is good. Write down the principles, the algorithms, the formula of all these things you want to do. Then number 8, go organize the people around you. Number 8.
Would that be like put them in position?
Sorry?
Would that be like put them into
organize the action of people around you. Sorry. Organize the actions of people around you, the steps they should take.
Basically, orient them in the system you have just created.
Right. Orient them in the system you have just created. You've written it down in theory. Now go and place them in position. Organize the actions. Because the most important thing is organized action. They shouldn't just do things chaotically. Not everybody should just do what they want to do. You are organizing them to act in accordance to the vision that you receive. To the accordance to the inspired idea. And then according to the picture you have created in your mind and in their mind. The organized thought. You are now organizing their actions. For example, I tell them, okay, go get the alcoholics now. Go get the drug addicts this way. Go this way. You go this one. You go this one. You do this meeting every Tuesday. You do this meeting every Monday. You are responsible for this. You are responsible for this. You must guide and organize their actions. That was number what? Number 8. Number 9. You must now make their actions, their organized actions, to become organized system of action. Organized system of action. It needs
subsystems.
That they can keep on reducing.
Yes, they have to. It's not just do something one time. It must become a circle that is closed. For example, we didn't just save one drug addict or build one rep center. we kept on building an organized system of action, thought, organized system of action. It began to go on and on. Only people who are able to, these are just the basic ideas, right? You got it. Only people who are able to act like this are capable of changing the world. So it doesn't matter, small group, big group, or what, but it must be organized. Organized system of thought. Can we all read it in again?
Never doubt that a small group of people with an
yeah, say it again.
Never doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only this kind of people can change.
Let's do it again.
Never doubt that a small group of people with an organized system of thought can change the world. Indeed, only this kind of people can change it.
Okay, the last point, number 10. Make sure you teach your people that everything they will ever do, every idea that will ever come to them, they should make sure they convert them into an organized system of thought and organized system of action. Everything must be converted to system. System of thought, system of action. System of thought, system of action. System of thought, system of action. You remember what we read in Genesis? We read in Genesis that, and the Lord said, indeed, these people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they began to do. Now, nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. When you see a people with an organized system of thought, this is what he's talking about here. Yeah. Even God couldn't stop them. The only way God was able to stop them was to disorganize them through their language. Whenever you see an organized system, organized people everywhere with one thought, with one system, organized thought, action, they would think there is nothing that can stop them. There is nothing they cannot do. That is the highest level of power. Because nothing can stop them. And there is nothing that they cannot do. If they think of doing it, if they decide to do it, there is nothing that they cannot do. Let's give the Lord a round of applause.